And we're live. Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And tonight, we are discussing Guy Ritchie's 2000 dark crime comedy, Snatch. And and I'm here with my guest, the Fandad Menace, or is it Brad Menace?
Hello.
You like dogs, Brad?
I do like dogs. I like dogs and caravans.
Yeah, that's. And welcome inside, man. How you doing, man? You like
Yeah,
dogs?
yeah, yeah. Very good. It's funny because when you actually asked me, you said Friday night, do you fancy Snatch? And I thought that you were actually inviting me on a night out.
Yeah. That's
But
intentional. I was there.
yeah.
That was intentional. I was supposed to mislead you. So yeah, and Mr. E, thanks for joining me, and hopefully we'll see a bit more of Nick's and Rachel later in the chat as well, and all the regular guys we like to get in, like Toxic and Blue Collar if they can make it. And yeah, God, I mean, can't believe it's been 25 years since this movie came out. It's
unreal.
time's passing, man. I was just starting high school when this came out as well. It was in my first year when it came out. It's oh God, man, time really passes by, does it? Doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, there was quite a big fanfare for Guy Ritchie's second film because obviously Lock, Stock was a surprise hit, really. I mean, I'd seen his short film upon which Lock, Stock was based, The Hard Case. It's actually a very good little short film. And then Lock, Stock just kind of exploded. And then, we had the Lock, Stock TV series, but everyone was waiting for Guy Ritchie's next film. And of course, thankfully we got Snatch.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie. He's a very sort of stylish director. Sometimes he can be a little overindulgent, and sometimes he can get that right balance just well. I mean, Revolver, I thought he got a bit self-indulgent. This has a nice little perfect balance of just sort of like screwball comedy with some dark gritty humor as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, for a gangster movie, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not Goodfellas and it's not The Godfather.
No.
It's got good banter in it, plenty of sort of good humor, dark humor.
Yeah, and everyone is basically an asshole. There just happens to be a few characters who are less of an asshole than the others. I mean, Bricktop obviously is a very unlikable guy, but Alan Ford plays him so well, you just can't help but being more engaged when he's on screen. He's just so downright unapologetically nasty. He's like he's almost memorable. Yeah. And Razor, thanks for joining. There's a lot of Toxic. Yeah, if I give a dog a bone, I don't want to know if it tastes good or not. So yeah, speaking of high school inside, man, what was high school like in the 50s?
He's a card. He's a card, isn't he?
Feed him to the pigs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely this genre is Guy Ritchie's wheelhouse. I mean, he has tried other movies and failed dismally.
I have to agree.
What was that film he did with Madonna, Swept Away? I've not seen it. But
that was just a vehicle for his wife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't even watched it, to be honest.
Yeah, and Revolver, oh my God. What?
I know. I was really looking forward to seeing that, and then I checked it out, and I was like, "This takes itself way too seriously." It's got the Guy Ritchie sort of style of directing, the sort of like little twists and turns. But with the thing with Lock, Stock, and Snatch is the twists and turns sort of made sense. They sort of like kind of set up for these great payoffs, and I never really felt that way with Revolver. I felt he was trying to set something that was very ambiguous, but at the same time, just left me baffled.
I think he was. I think he was trying to be cerebral, and it didn't work. I mean, I know Mark Kermode, the film critic, is absolutely vitriolic about Guy Ritchie. He really doesn't like him. He didn't like Lock, Stock. He thought it was, well overrated. He didn't like Snatch. He thought it was ridiculous and overrated. But of course, when it comes to Swept Away and Revolver, I mean, he became angry
Yeah,
And I've never seen.
Tarantino as well,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Covenant is
Yeah.
a good one. I actually like Covenant, and I get what Mister is saying about Revolver being a bit more experimental, but I just think it's an
Ooh.
experiment that just didn't pay off. I think.
Yeah, I think the only person that
Yeah.
it was an experiment for really was him and not for the audience. And I think if you're forgetting the audience, or rather, if you think that you're thinking of the audience, um, you're just trying to be a people pleaser. But however, he's a funny one, Guy Ritchie, because he there are moments when he doesn't know whether he doesn't know whether he's Tarantino or Christopher Nolan. And he tries to sort of swap between the two, and I do think he tries to be other people. I know previously he made some indirect snipes at Tarantino, saying that he didn't feel that his work was really that good, in his early movies, in Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, which I would completely fight him on that. I mean,
I will. I totally
yeah,
disagree.
yeah.
I think Tarantino is probably more of my favorite of a director, but
Yeah.
but Guy Ritchie can be hit and miss. I mean, there's times where I think he's doing real well. I actually liked Rock and Roller. I thought he came right back on with Rock and Roller, and then he did the Sherlock Holmes movies, which I actually did like. I thought it was
Yeah, me too.
surprisingly his style worked really well with that film.
Yeah,
So
it did.
It's kind of it's again, like you said, his wheelhouse being Snatch and Lockstock. I think Sherlock Holmes is like Victorian Snatch, isn't it? It's
Yes,
got
it
that
is. Yeah,
same
yeah,
feel
yeah,
to it, which I like. I think with Guy Ritchie though, he's done Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. He did Snatch, and then sort of set himself a brand. But I
yeah,
think in a way, I kind of think breaking away from that was the right thing to do. I just think he went the wrong way about it, because if he
yeah,
continued to make gangster banter-filled gangster movies, I
yeah,
think they would have just become stagnant. So I
yeah.
think at least he's tried to do something different.
Mm,
He went back to the same sort of style when he did King Arthur, for God's
yeah,
sake. He
yeah.
tried to
I mean,
turn that
yeah,
into
he directed that
Lock,
one,
Stock,
didn't
and
he?
Two Smoking
mm,
Swords. But
yeah,
which was okay, but then we
mm,
got to The Gentleman, which, like,
mm.
compared to Snatch, is just like a polished diamond.
Yeah,
It's
I liked
really,
The Gentleman though.
yeah.
I think that's
I
one of
didn't
the
like it.
yeah.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it for some reason, and then the second time I saw it, I couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was when I first watched The Gentleman. I thought, "Oh, is Guy Ritchie going to get really self-indulgent with his dialogue here and his
Yeah,
twists and
Yeah,
turns?" And I watched it, and it's like, "No, it's actually good. It's actually
yeah.
fucking funny. I liked it."
And that was a little bit of a danger, I think. He can be a little bit self-indulgent with his dialogue, and I think sometimes I think he he becomes the only person that finds his dialogue amusing, funny,
yeah.
witty, and sharp. And you think, oh God, no, not another Guy Ritchie line. Um, but then, of course, then he committed the unforgivable, and he did Disney's Aladdin,
Yeah,
which was
I don't think he even wanted to do it. I think I would not be surprised if the fucking studio stepped in and just took away any chance of he had of making this even remotely watchable.
I think when he I tell you what I think. I think when he heard that Dumbo was going to be made by Tim Burton, I thought I believe that he thought, yeah, so really good, stylish genre directors are directing these things, so I can do that too. And it failed. Just, I mean, it's an abysmal piece of work. There's no skill in there. There's no style in there. I kind of do feel sorry for him about that, because even Tim Burton had said, I would never, as long as I live, ever make another movie for Disney, um, because they are so controlling. They have controlled everything. So I get the impression that they did exactly the same thing for Guy Ritchie. Um, and I actually quite liked the Man from Uncle movie.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I
fuck, I forgot
thought
about that. I need to watch it again. That was pretty
I
good.
quite liked it. I quite liked it. The only thing that was missing for me was the music. The Man from Uncle music. It's like having a Mission Impossible movie without the Mission Impossible music, and the Bond movies without the Bond music.
Yeah.
It needs to be there. It was part of it. But it was a stylish film. I thought it was a really well directed, not a brilliant film, but a really well directed, well crafted piece of work. But
Yeah,
this,
because I didn't show it
this
once.
is something different. This is I think quite special, and doesn't warrant any of the scathing criticism that's been bestowed upon it by Mark Kermode.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he did the serious stuff a few years ago, like the Wrath of Man and the Covenant, I think, all right, this is him actually doing serious pretty good because
Mm.
we get what the character is going for. We get his motivation. We get the motivation of Jake Gyllenhaal and Darcy Lim in the Covenant. I mean,
Mm.
Covenant is probably his best serious work in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not, there's no back and forth time skips. There's no entwining storylines that mesh up with each other. It's actually just a very simple film about bravery and heroism.
yeah. Unlike Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
It was a
Yeah,
bit, it was a load of cack, wasn't it?
yeah,
Oh
that was his
God,
weakest film, but
absolutely.
It had so much potential to be an excellent war movie,
It really
and you
did.
just
the
tripped up the
book
first
is so
hurdle.
Yeah.
fucking good as well. The book is so good. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could
exactly.
almost see it's so crazy and
yeah,
insane. I could see Guy Ritchie almost doing some of this, but I want to get the feeling he was interrupted as well during production. I would not be surprised. It's like
Mm.
everything that has Henry Cavill in suddenly gets messed up because Henry Cavill is a very fucking talented guy and he seems like a nice guy and
yeah,
he just gets shafted every time.
yeah.
It's
I
it's
just
disgusting.
see he's a director's dream. He really is a director's dream because he will just go along with whatever the director says. He's a real professional actor, a real proper actor,
Yeah,
not
and he doesn't
somebody
strike
who
a fancy
argues.
fever. He
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, and it's just a shame. And I mean, as you said, Fandad, he was given a gift with the book
Yeah.
by Damian Lewis, um, and it was a gift. I mean, the events that occur in that book are staggering.
I mean, it's like it's the inception of the SAS, more or less, isn't it? Like, what a fantastically interesting story to
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
and bring to an audience. And
yeah,
if you fail at that, then there's something terribly wrong with you.
yeah. I
Style.
agree. I think you'd
But,
have to be really talented to fail at that,
yeah,
and yeah,
but Henry Cavill, and for the most part, most of the actors in that, they leaned right into the roles. There's
yeah,
no issue with any of the performances in that movie.
no, no,
Just never went anywhere. Just
no,
a couple of interesting set pieces with, violence against Nazis, who, what's not to like.
yeah,
But in between, it was just nonsense and just meandered.
yeah.
I also thought The Covenant was boring. I'm sorry, guys.
I love
Um,
that film. I love that. I think it's one of my
yeah,
best films of 2023 because
yeah.
I
There's a
mean, it
lot
was
of
at
people
least
speak
making
highly of.
me feel something, making me feel something like inspired anyway, for
Yeah,
lack of a better word. But yeah, but right now tonight we're just talking about Snatch, and I think we will start off with the end because that's where it starts. It starts off with the end where Turkish and Tommy are just sat there with this diamond and they're wondering what to do with it. It's like, what do I know about diamonds? I'm just a fucking boxing promoter. I was an happy boxing promoter until last week. And Jason Statham does it pretty well because he's not really the big tough guy getting into fights with 50 fucking people. He's just a guy he's basically just trying to keep his head down, but now he's got this fucking gangster on his ass taking over something that he's very passionate about. And you get Tommy as well, who's basically, by some miracle, his assistant, his right hand man, and is this total fucking idiot who wants to be a gangster, but he's not very tough. He's not very smart. he's just an idiot, but you love him though.
He's got heart though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, he does show he's got some balls later, and I do love Stephen Graham in this role. He's because he can be a very intimidating bastard when he needs to be, especially in films like This Is England.
Yeah.
So yeah, he says his name's after a gun, but I know he was named after a 19th century ballet dancer. it's such a good line as well. But yeah, obviously, because I didn't get the slides for the actual beginning, but it doesn't matter. I mean, because it comes back to here anyway, doesn't it? So now,
it does.
this is where the film actually starts.
Circle, doesn't it? Starts off in Antwerp almost.
Yeah. How the fuck did they get in Antwerp? So yeah, I like the fact that the names are actually in the camera CCTVs, and you got these guys dressed as Hasidic Jews, and it's all very calm. You got this very vaudeville style music playing while they're up bantering about Adam and Eve, and they're basically talking biblical stories, just to sort of like pass themselves off. And then it all kicks off. The fucking bass and the drums hitting. They pull out these revolvers, and turns out they're just robbing the place. And you got all these sort of crazy camera angles as well. You got the camera spinning around, all the Dutch angles, everything. And I just love Benicio del Toro as well, because he's one of those actors that really does get into his fucking roles. He's an intense bastard. He is.
Yeah,
he does. When I was watching the movie, I was thinking it's like watching two movies. There's the low budget end with sort of Statham and his mates, and then there's like Benicio del Toro, Dennis Farina, Brad Pitt.
Hey, Nix.
Like really, really pulling it together as far as the performances go. All the other guys did well with what they were given, but some parts you probably agree yourself, Gary, that it was like, I know it is a low budget movie, but like I've worked on a couple of really low budget things, and at times sort of the performances are like really overplayed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times the hire people in that's done a lot of sort of stage work, so they try and sort of pronounce their presence way over the top. And some of the jokes were okay, but you can tell it's Ritchie's kind of first or second stab at doing this kind of thing. And like I said before, by the time he gets to The Gentleman, he's absolutely nailed it. As far as this kind of genre of movie goes, I think.
Because Lock, Stock was a bit more subtle when you think about it. It did feel a little bit more grounded, despite the fact it did still have the odd little, bit of screwball humor in there, but it was very, very minimum. While here he just goes full over the top, but it kind of works for this film as well, because it's a crazy plot where all the stuff is happening all at the same time, and it all comes together in very humorous ways, and it's like his first time getting big stars in as well. I mean, getting Dennis Farina, fucking hell, man,
yeah. But it was quite interesting that he said that much of what went into Snatch was stuff that he trimmed from the script of Lock, Stock. And when it came to making a follow-up movie rather than a sequel, that he could quite easily just rejig some of those scenes and introduce new characters, introduce new scenes and dialogue. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Here's Snatch.
Yeah. And Lord Toxic, I think his accent's not so bad. It's a very stereotypical accent, but he is playing a very stereotypical Irish gypsy. So.
His accent's absolutely diabolical.
Yeah, most of the Rami slang isn't even like proper Cockney Rami slang. It's basically sort of Guy Ritchie's sort of idea of Cockney Rami slang. He's mostly middle class, isn't he?
I think it makes the movie though, doesn't it?
It's got style.
Yeah,
it's funny talking about Cockney rhyming slang and Cockneys, and I think this is one of the things that Mark Kermode has against Guy Ritchie, that he feels that he thinks that he's a pretender, He has expressed opinions that he doesn't necessarily believe the legend that Guy Ritchie has created about himself. He feels that he's how can I put it, full of shit. Is pretty much what he implied. That all of the kind of working class Cockney geezer background that Guy Ritchie purports to be from, and this delinquent that he purports to have been as a youngster.
Jelly deals.
Yeah, jelly deals, apples and pears. Let's have some pie mash.
Shove it up your arse.
Yeah. But he thinks that he's a little bit of a pretender, not just pretentious, but and of course he does come from money, doesn't he? He is, because he was a public school boy or private school for our American chums. So he purports to be of this sort of working class and everything.
I know. Just admit you're from a fucking working class background. It's just silly. Just silly.
Yeah.
But and I do actually like this this intro as well. It introduces all the characters visually. You get them straight away. When Tommy, I love this bit. He just loses his money to this guy who just cooks and grills from him, and it shows he's not very good at gambling. He's not a very lucky guy, is he?
No.
And even worse, he's lumped in with this fucking idiot for an assistant called Tommy. And once again, even if he didn't say he was named after a 19th century ballet dancer, you'd get what kind of a character Tommy was straight away just by this little sort of clip in the intro. He gets knocked over by the boxing bag, and Jason Statham looks at him like, "What the fuck is up with you, man?" And
sorry, Luke, is it just me? Because I haven't got any slides on my screen at all.
No, sorry. I mean, sorry. Yeah.
No,
it's my fault. Sorry, it's up on me, but it's let's get this back on then. Sorry about that.
It's just because you did say you'd missed the slides from the beginning, but
yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Like
I said,
here we go.
You get these characters straight away from how they're introduced visually as well. I mean, you see Bricktop smash a hammer against this guy. You get he's a nasty bastard. You get this guy is a nasty bastard.
Mr. Tony.
And Boris the Blade as well is Doug the Head. Mike Reed as well, the legendary Mike Reed, God rest his soul. And is Alan Ford still going, man?
Yes, he is. Yeah, I believe he is.
Is he like 78 or something, isn't he? Oh, he's not. He's 86. Sorry, I'm getting him mixed up. 86. Bloody hell.
But the funny thing about Alan Ford is that he's always looked like that. He's never looked any different, even when I'm sure he was born like that.
Yeah, I think it started when he was about 17.
But even in the Long Good Friday, it looked fucking old. It's like that was like 40 years ago. Just over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good, man. He is good. And then we're back on this, and he obviously has got to head to London now, and he's giving him his gun. He's like, talk to Boris. He'll get you what you need. So
that's Boris's brother, isn't it? In the back of the van. Yeah. Is that who that is? Yeah.
Yeah. Boris is his brother, and it's like he said, "You're my brother, so act like my brother." And this is where we kind of get set up. I mean, it's just a little simple thing that just gets blown out of proportion. He just wants a new caravan. It's like it's coming apart as well. It's like, what's wrong with this caravan? It's like, oh, nothing. It's tip top. I'm not sure about the colour. He's doing this while holding the fucking door. It's just come off. And obviously they've got an unlicensed boxing match coming up as well. They're obviously in there with Bricktop straight away. And it is kind of Turkish's fault. He's the one that advises him to go down to the gypsy campsite to buy a caravan. It's because obviously it's cheap, but the gypsies, what the fuck do you expect? It's going to go wrong.
I fucking hate pikeys.
You're sensitive, boy, ain't you, Tommy? And then we got another good bit which pops up as well, a good little recurring joke, and that is the gun in his pocket is like, what is a fucking gun doing in your pocket? It's like, protection. Protection from what? It's the Germans.
The Germans.
Yeah. And the fucking gun's bigger than him as well. It's like this big fucking revolver. I think it's a cult python, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like 38 python or something.
Establish. Yeah. Sorry, I just got out of a meeting. I love Steve Graham in Taboo. Oh, fucking hell. I need to watch that as well. Is he in that?
I don't know. Tom Hardy's in that, isn't he? That's the Netflix.
Yeah, he's in that.
Isn't it? Another one that only did one season, apparently, and everyone's clamoring for more. So well done again, Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look at that.
Yeah. But once again, this establishes these guys' relationship as well. Is they've obviously been working with each other for a while, and it's Tommy seems to be this guy who seems to make the situation a bit worse than it does through his undeliberately, of course.
Yeah.
And I don't get the grill man. He's like saying, "Oh, the sausages will be like for 2 minutes," and it's like about 5 minutes later, he's like saying, "Oh, it'll be another 5 minutes." I was like, "It was 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago." Yeah. Once again, it also fills us a little bit of information about Boris. He calls him the sneaky fucking Russian, so he's obviously not a guy you really should be dealing with. You pay for something, he'll rip you off, and he also seems to have this little thing about just being impossible to kill.
Yeah.
It's the name Boris the Bullet Dodger. And I like this actor as well. I forgot the guy's name, but
Radi.
What's his name?
Radi Serbedzija. He's Croatian actor.
Damn, man.
He's bloody good.
Yeah.
I'll call him Addy. I'll just call him Addy for now.
No, that's Tyrone's called Addy, believe it or not.
Oh, yes, that's right.
The big lad is called Addy, and the Russian is called Radi with an R.
It's the annex.
Radi or Radi, yeah.
Radi. He is a good actor, though, and
he was in Shooter, wasn't he? I think he's
in loads, man. He's in loads. I think he's in Mission Impossible too.
He's got a great look.
Yeah.
And he looks dodgy as well. I like it. I love this. He just plays it so well. It's heavy is good, heavy is reliable. If it doesn't work, hit him with it. Yeah, and obviously this goes to show how much of an idiot Tommy is as well, because he's just aiming his gun and he's not even. He doesn't look like he's. I think he did check to see if it was loaded, but always acts like a gun is loaded, even if it isn't. And Gorgeous George as well is a bit shocked, and this is where we get to meet Bricktop properly, and he's checking out his fighters, and this guy's sort of brown nosing him. Is like, "You got all the characteristics of a dog, Gary. We'll accept your loyalty." And the guy just he's obviously going to get fucking killed as well. And the guy who grassed him up gets killed as well just for grassing on him. Is like, he doesn't take no prisoners, this guy.
Yeah, I've got no time for grasses.
Yeah. Feed them to the pigs, Errol.
Feed them to the pigs.
Yeah. And what the fuck are you looking at? And the boxers are just looking at him. They're like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, and obviously Turkish is in this guy's is obviously been he's having a meeting now in this fucking pig farm where he's probably feeding the body parts of the people he's just killed to these animals. It's like, what the hell, man? And he's not happy about it as well. He's just a guy who probably wants to be a boxing promoter, but now he's kind of in a situation where he has no choice now. And you don't really say no to Bricktop. Bricktop seems like the type of guy who would use more force to convince you to say yes to his offer.
Yeah. And even if it's something to his advantage, and you're getting something out of it, he wants what you're getting as well as what he's getting.
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting little tidbits that set up all the things that are just about to go wrong as well. And this is where Boris's brother rings him up, and obviously he wants someone in London to steal the diamond from Frankie Four Fingers, but he doesn't want Frankie Four Fingers killed or hurt too much. Just like, listen, just rough him up a little bit and steal from him. We just don't want this diamond getting back to us. So once again, we've got another plot that's about to unfold and cause a lot more chaos, because it's mostly just set up this first half hour. Yeah, it's like, what will you want me to do? Hit him for you, but don't you hit him either. it's very exaggerated as well, the acting. It's very comical, like something out of a sitcom, but it works to the style. Oh yeah, RTNZ, thanks for joining us. Wish I could join you for this, but I'm getting my Welsh on as we're about to play France. When do you upload the stream? Make sure you put in subtitles for our mate Lord Toxic. Yeah. I don't care if he's Mohammed Ahmad Bruce Lee. Yeah, really great quotes as well. And this is where we meet Dennis Farina's character, Avi.
Yeah.
And
this is where it steps up a level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Joins the fray.
I mean, he does add style to anything that is in as well, I think.
Yeah, he's such a likable actor, and I like the fact that he was a cop, but he plays a criminal so well as also.
It's just effortless, though, isn't it? Everything he does is just effortless. He's just. I wonder if that's how he is in real life. He just walks through the script.
Yeah, I just love his accent.
I know. He just seemed to be a very nice guy as well. He seemed like a guy who knew what he was doing because. He started off basically as a technician for Michael Mann, didn't he? But then and played a couple of heavies, and then eventually became an actor himself. And he's done pretty well. I love his stuff. I love his cameos in Miami Vice. I love him when he plays a villain in something. I liked him in Out of Sight as well. One of the few times where he gets to play a good guy. Yeah. You take shit there? No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough. Yeah, so many quotes. So this is where obviously he's making this deal with Frankie to meet up for the diamonds, and little does he know that diamond is going to get stolen. And you got this little joke as well where he's constantly getting fitted for all these different suits, and he's obviously trying to blend into the English scenery, doesn't he, by dressing up like a country gent later on.
A mate of mine, just a quick little kind of tidbit here. A friend of mine, he was kind of custodian of a couple of warehouses that used to belong to this old supermarket chain called Quick Save. And
I remember
that. and he was looking after these warehouses, and he was approached by this production company, and they were doing this film. It's actually doing this film, but it was under the title of Diamond. It was called Diamond at the time. So they managed to hire this warehouse out for a studio space, but the production title was Diamond prior to it being Snatch. So there you go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a life-changing piece of information there for everybody watching, I think.
Yeah, sorry about the noise in the background. Fucking hell, I think I accidentally pressed something, and do apologise for that. But
put that
dildo down. This is where we discover he's got a bit of a fucking bad gambling problem as well, which also does lead him to circumstances which becomes his undoing. So it's like, it's kind of a tragedy. It just happens to be a very funny tragedy because a lot of people, this whole diamond business just fucking ends up messing everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, we need to go to London. It's like, London? Yeah, London. London? Yeah, fish, chips, cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Yeah. Bad weather, worst food, bad weather. Merry fucking pop.
Merry fucking Poppins. He couldn't be more pissed off, but if he tried.
Yeah.
I've got to go to London. What have I done to deserve it? Fuck my life.
Yes. And obviously, he's now talking to Doug the Head about the diamonds as well, and he's like, and he seems to be fucking a little bit skeptical about it as well. But he manages to get talked back into it, doesn't he? And you got these Hasidic Jews as well who's stood outside, and it's like, well, it's a free world, isn't it? It's like, we're at a free shop. Now, fuck off.
Good old Mike. The children's entertainer from the 1980s, who was one of the bluest comics on the planet.
Run around,
yeah, very, very
run
funny.
around, you fucking assholes.
What was that joke as well? Quasimodo's just walking down the yard and the kids start kicking him and he's like, for fuck's sake, I ain't got your fucking football.
I've got your ball up me jumper.
Yeah. Oh, God rest your soul, Mike Reed, man. You were a fucking class act.
Yeah, he was a class act.
Guy.
Yeah.
Running around in heaven now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got these two girls as well, who was his daughters, and they're obviously picked there just because they're twins, but they don't manage to be very funny as well, just the way they deliver their lines. I mean, they got some sass. I like them. And once again, he's using that same line with the gun as well, like he's selling to Benicio del Toro's character. And there is a deleted scene where, after he's captured by the people at the pawn shop, he does try and snatch the gun from them, but it doesn't work, and he's like sneaky fucking Russian, and he gets the tea cozy on his head again. But obviously, he knows he's told by his brother that he loves to gamble, and this is where he's like, I need you to go down to the bookies and put a bet on me, but I have a huge debt. They won't let me take that bet, and so obviously he's got a plan hatching as well, and he's already found some pawns to try and move the chess pieces in play. Yeah, because he's got a weakness for gambling, isn't he? So it's a good way to exploit him. And now
but doesn't Benicio del Toro play that part really well?
He does. He does. He always gets really into his roles. He always gets into his roles.
Yeah.
I mean, remember in License to Kill where he almost cut Timothy Dalton's hands during the scene.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
He was obviously high on coke when he did that fucking movie, but he does make an impression there for someone who was really, really young as well, and making his big screen film debut back then.
And then his role in Usual Suspects was just outstanding, wasn't it?
Oh
especially in the lineup. Give me the keys, you cocksucker. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, he's slamming his lines, but it works for the movie. It's like, you're like fucking keys, you cocksucker. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Is that the one about the prostitute with the dysentery?
Yeah, Benicio del Toro cannot do any fucking wrong, and even Steve Graham as well. Apart from the Venom movies, of course. I mean, I love you, Steve Graham, but God, you deserved better in those movies. You really did. Yeah, even fucking Gorgeous George isn't happy with the Pikeys. He's like, oh, you bastard. I fucking hate Pikeys.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we meet Brad Pitt as well, is in Snatch. He just comes out from the other side of the car, pulling his trousers up. He's been taking his shit outside his fucking caravan. It's like, what the hell?
Dirty
bastard. Yeah, and you got this kid as well who was like saying, how help you find him? It's like, but you got to pay me £5. It's like, oh, fuck off! I found him himself. I found him myself.
Yeah.
So, all right, £2.50. I'll give you £1. Oh, you're a red-tape fucker, aren't you? Of course, he meets him now, and they're about to discuss the deal, and you've got the really, really thick accent where it's like, yeah.
There's people that talk like that, though. There's people that talk, and I think even the Irish can't understand some of the Irish. It's like really, it's like Glaswegian, some parts of Glasgow as well, obviously
it's
Scottish
as well, isn't it? Because it's like they're great negotiators because you can't understand anything they've said.
You can't really go back on the word because you don't know what the word was.
Just as not to say anything detrimental about them, but there was I'll just give you a little story about one of my neighbours. And he had a couple of trees that needed cutting down. This was last summer, and of course a couple of our chums turned up. Excuse me, mister, do you need your tree cut down? And he's going, yeah, I've been trying to get rid of this thing for years. He says, yeah, I'd love you to cut it down. He's going, we'll cut it down for you, and we do the bushes, and then of course he said, we need 300 quid up front, right? they gave him. Foolishly, he gave them 300 quid. They started trimming a couple of bushes, filled a couple of black sacks, cut through his Sky cable, and fucked off.
Get in. Did they
And
take the dish with them?
And this is no word of a lie. The very next day, they came back, right? And they went to another neighbour, and they did exactly the same thing. Jesus. 300 quid up front, and the guy next door, he didn't even say a word. They turned up, he saw them, he didn't say a word. He shat his pants. They're pretty good at negotiating their fees for things.
I know, and it's funny as well because he's basically a cheating, thieving scumbag. This Miss Mickey, but he's still very likable.
He is likable.
He's a very funny character, and
there is and I don't even think it's anything to do with Brad Pitt playing him. I think he's written as quite a charming character as well. I think he's actually quite a well-written character, regardless of whether we like Brad Pitt's accent or not. I actually think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he looks like he's having fun as well, and he even took he took a low pay as well because he wanted to star in it. So I kind of got to give him credit,
Absolutely.
I think even though
he always puts in 100%.
Yeah, he does.
Exactly. Even though he's sort of his character, his accent's a bit off kilter, I think he's still sort of brings a charm to the movie.
Yeah. And it's
kind of it fits well with the style of the movie.
It does, and he's we've got the essence of what the character is. So regardless of those kind of little lapses, dialogue lapses, or accent lapses, is still there. We've got the essence of who he is and what he is.
It's like a parody, isn't it? Like each character's of a
exactly
parody of an action.
Exactly that.
So you can get away with it.
It's very cartoonish.
So. You can't really, scold him for having a shit accent when it's just every character's kind of shit but great at the same time. That's what the movie is. Essentially,
gangsters are very sort of cockney stereotypes. The Russians are Russian stereotypes and all. It's
the Jews are
very Jewish.
Very Jewish. Yeah, it's you're right. I mean, you're both absolutely spot on with that. I mean, cartoonish is a brilliant way of describing it, and parody, brilliant way of describing it. It's exactly both of those things.
Yeah, I even like Mickey's mum as well. She seems like a fucking lovely woman, and
easy tiger.
Yeah, and it is very sad when she. You kind of do want Mickey to get his revenge later on in the movie.
Definitely.
He seems like a bit nicer compared to the other gypsies, and I think Tommy even has a bit of a liking to her.
Is she one of the Cusacks?
I don't know. But she looks like a typical West.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Saoirse Cusack.
Yeah, Saoirse Cusack.
Messrs. O'Neill.
And I do like the fact that Brad Pitt, despite his Hollywood good looks, does actually look like a gypsy.
He does, yeah.
I've seen a few people who still dress like that today. 25 years after this film came out, who still dressed like that.
Yeah. And they dressed like it 25 years before this film came out as well.
Oh, there's Lance's friend.
There's Jason
Fleming.
Scruffy bastard.
And the curly ginger mullet is like, yeah. And he's always a likable actor who's he's happy just to do what he's
just gets right into the role. I was saying before, I think he's one of the best things in it. He's not in it very much, but like just the way he's dressed and like he's scruffy. He looks like he lives on a caravan site. And he acts like he lives on a caravan site.
It's very boyish as well, isn't he? If you know what I mean. He's another one that seems to have aged pretty well.
Yeah.
He
doesn't get any older, does he? The lucky bastard. No. He's 86, you know. Jason Fleming, OBE.
Yeah, I think he saw an interview as well. He's kind of aware that if someone that is mostly hired just to play one part half the time, and And he's just a guy who likes to fucking do his acting. He doesn't seem to get too up his own ass about it. So yeah.
He's going to star in Captain Pugwash with Nick Frost. I've just found it. Nick Frost's playing Captain Pugwash, and Jason Fleming's in it.
I'm kind of all right with that. I think he would look the role. I don't know.
See, Nick Frost maybe when he was a little more rotund, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I think as Nick Frost is now,
no, he's still a fat bastard.
Is he? I thought he dropped, several stone.
I've just seen him in one of the most awful films I've ever seen in my life. I might have to come on with you lot on Lancers on Tuesday and talk about it. The Getaway.
Have
you seen it?
About it, they'll let you on.
Yeah, I'll send them a message. Has anyone seen that? The Getaway.
No, not seen it.
I've seen the posters. I just haven't seen it yet.
It looked good on the trailers, but my God, what an absolute letdown! I won't say too much on it, but sorry, carry on.
What genre is it? Is it meant to be a comedy? Is it?
It's meant to be a comedy. It's about as funny as a fart in a spacesuit. That's just my opinion. Other people, I've looked at a few reviews, and a lot of them agreed with me. But a lot of people seem to think, it's the funniest thing they've seen all year. But just the jokes just fell flat. But I might come and talk about it on Tuesday. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Because it's got a bit of a twist in it, but I won't say anything on it. Just absolute gash. Favourite film of the year so far, I keep banging on about it. It's that Real Pain with...
I'm going to try and watch that and review it, because after watching Flight Risk and Wolff, man, I think I need to see something good and recommend people.
Oh, mate, absolutely brilliant. I absolutely loved that film.
Because January is a bit of a fucking toilet bowl, and I think this came out in December, but I don't know if it got a proper release here in January. So it'd be good review something that came out around about the last few weeks that was actually decent. So I'll try and do that. So now they've got the caravan, and it's looking like it's actually gone well. They even get a free dog with it, which is another little joke that pops up later. It's like, I don't see what all the fuss was about. It's like, they don't seem like such bad people, and they're not even out of the fucking camp and the wheels fall off it. It's like, what the hell?
Literally.
It's like, listen.
He's always got the warranty, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's like, listen, we just want our money back. And he's like, what do I want with a caravan? It's going to have fucking wheels. He's like, so it all kicks off as well, and obviously it leads to a fucking punch-up later and a quick fight over the dispute. And she's obviously worried about what's going to happen as well, because she's like, you know what happens when you fight? And this should have been the sound that they should have just gotten the fuck out of there straight away. But no, he gives Mickey this big fucking beating as well. He's kicking him and everything. He's like, stay down, or you'll get fucking worse. And Mickey's just not backing down. And even Gorgeous George is like, you know what? No, this is too much. I can't do this. I'm off. What does he do? He provokes him. He's like, you're not going anywhere, you tick lump. Stay till the job's done. So he goes up to him. Yeah, he goes up to him. Nicky just knocks him the fuck out. And it's like, then Golden Brown starts playing. The camera starts panning up from the ceiling. And I just love that as it slowly pans up to Tommy's face as the fucking walls close around him. It's like, what the hell? Because there's no telling if they're going to fucking dispose of George if he's dead and kill Tommy as well, because he's a witness to a murder.
Bless
Tommy
him.
He's praying. And
he's got tears rolling down his cheeks as well by the end of the scene. It's like heart-wrenching to watch, but like, it's fuck me, Tommy, you are in the shit now, son. Thankfully, George is okay though, isn't he?
Yeah, he does. He just has like these big fucking this head, big sort of like head kind of braces around him. These wires holding his jaw shut as well, because he's so fucked up. It's like
smashed. Yeah, pikey smash.
Yeah, stone is equivalent to £20. Yeah, that's right. Nick Frost dropping stones like Pikey's dropping turd, yet still as fat as a whale. Fucking funny, most people thought she was protecting her son. Yeah, you kind of led to that as well, because Gorgeous George is a bit of a big guy compared to Brad Pitt, but no, Brad Pitt has that big super one-man punch thing going on.
He's got the technique, is what it is.
Yeah, and then we cut to I keep forgetting these guys' names as well. One's Lenny as well. But they're obviously working in the pawn shop as well. He's obviously, the bald guy's obviously been at the campsite, and he's got this free dog as well. And this is where we're introduced to our other characters, the pawnbrokers, who
Vinny.
Vinny and Lenny.
Sol. Lenny James. Sol, played by Lenny James, yeah.
Yeah, Lenny James, who has fucking killed it in the last 10 years in The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead.
Aye. He has, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's a very good actor. I've seen the other guy in a few as well. I've seen him in Snatch as well. I've seen him in The Firm as well with Gary Oldman with the football hooligans, which is a fucking brilliant drama as well. One of the best stuff BBC had released. So I'm just getting the cast names as well, because I kind of did forget the names. I do apologise for that. But they're obviously very good at spotting diamonds and that as well. And we've got Goldie here as well. There's obviously this guy who claims to be a gangster, but we never really see him do any gangster stuff, so we don't know that much about him. He's obviously trying to sell this diamond and make some money out of it. It's like it's totally crap. It's not genuine. It's worth fuck all.
Did you know Goldie's actually holds an MBA?
NBA. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's it.
It's a member of the British Empire, right?
Oh, damn.
I think that's what it stands for. Yeah, Goldie. Clifford Joseph Price, MBA.
Really?
Yeah, better known as Goldie.
What did you get an MBA for?
Services to the music industry and dental work. I don't know.
Yeah. Because he used to, he was long-term partner with Björk, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? I did not know that.
Yeah, for a long time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it says there. In the early 90s. What did you do? Kick his face in? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably beat him up. Yeah. That's why he's got gold teeth. She knocked his front out. For taking photos of her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sol and Vinny. Yeah, that's him. So Sol is Lenny James, like you said, and Vinny is Robbie G.
Robbie G.
Yep. And obviously they're going to be the pawns in Boris's plan to get the diamond stolen and away from him as well. So he's like, I got a job for you, and this is where we've got Tyrone as the getaway driver, and already you're getting the idea like these guys should not be doing this fucking job. They are the fools. They are fools. They are pawns. They are scapegoats for when shit goes wrong. These and the getaway driver can't even get out of the fucking car.
What's he gonna get away from?
Yeah,
nothing.
Listen, don't worry about him. Just think about the gun, and he pulls out this fucking shotgun, and he's like,
"Yeah,
what the fuck is that?" And he's like, "This is a shotgun, Sol. It's a fucking anti-aircraft gun you're holding there." Well, I want to raise pulses, don't I? You raise hell. Never mind pulses. Once again, the plot stack. Yeah, and I just love these characters. They're fucking idiots, but God, they are so fun to watch. Just how inept they are. I mean, look at that parking space. You could easily park in that, but it's too tight. It's like you can land a jumbo fucking jet in there. Okay, and moving on, and so now we've got back to Turkish, and he is fucking fuming that Tommy has just got Gorgeous George knocked out 3 days before the fight, before the rigged fight as well. It's like, we could always replace the fight. It's like, who with? It's like, how about Mad Fist or John the Gun? Is like, you do realise you're exactly up to date with what happened. Mad Fist went mad, and the Gun shot himself.
with a gun.
Yeah, it's kind of funny as well. It's kind of like a guy called Moses who finds Jesus. It's very funny, ironic deaths. It's like, I got an idea. Let's use the fucking pikey. So obviously they got to convince him now, and Mickey's not really keen on it as well. And he's like, okay, we'll do it for a caravan. It's like, wait, what? Well, yeah. Plus, it's not for me. It's for my ma. So obviously they got something to convince Mickey to do the fight with. And yeah, you got that little face when it's... What's that face? What's that face Tommy's pulling? Fucking what the hell, man? Yeah, so now they got to talk to Alan, to Bricktop, who's not fucking... which is probably the last place they want to be as well. And this is probably one of the few scenes where I get a little bit... with the dog fighting and that. Yeah, that's fucking dark stuff. That is really dark stuff.
Yeah, that's not a location you want to be in, is it? Or a situation. That's just danger from every angle. I
know. So now they're in this really, really ugly place as well, where these poor fucking animals are just being abused and tended to these horrible fucking beasts that probably will have to be put down if they're caught. And he's got to tell Bricktop that his fighter that's lined up that is lined up in the next couple of days is out of fucking commission, and now he's out of fucking money as well. He's got a chance to make loads of money, and Tommy has completely fucked it up. So it's like, we have lost Gorgeous George. It's like, might want to repeat that. We have lost Gorgeous George. And once again, the acting is really good. You can tell they're having fun in the roles, and Alan Ford is just being unapologetically just horrible. He just does not care. He must have
look at those specs. Look at those specs. That's
even his glasses are terrifying, aren't they?
I know. He's just an absolute scary fucker. I love him.
He's horrible.
Yeah, not when he hurts the dogs. Come on, that's evil. You don't hurt dogs.
No, his sarcasm's just intimidating as well, isn't it?
I know. Plus, he is genuinely threatening as well. He's this very old guy with these big glasses, but you can still tell he's not a guy you should fuck with. I mean, even if he didn't have his muscle with him, he could still find a way to fuck you up. The guy's just a downright psychopath. And yeah, there was a scene earlier where Benicio del Toro was talking to Doug the Head about a boxing match as well while he was getting the diamonds checked up. And obviously, now Avi has found out about it and he's not so happy, which is now leading him to come to London now to sort this out. Because, when why they call him Frankie Four Fingers? Because he makes stupid bets with dangerous people. And when he fucks up, they give him the cut. I'm not talking about his fucking foreskin either. So he's now in an element that he doesn't want to be in. He does not want to be in England. He's already shown a lot of disdain for it as well, and especially our weather and bad food. So now he's got this little fucking montage where he's in the taxi, he takes a drop of scotch, he gets to the plane, and he's just there in no time. I mean, that would have taken maybe a day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
I like the fact
I like that filmmaking device. Actually, it's it just, as I think Guy Ritchie actually said, that he was kind of looking for something to get the story, keep the momentum in the story, to get the characters from A to B, and that was the best thing he could do. And I think it worked out brilliantly.
I know that must have been one fucking fast plane though, because with all the security, probably even before 9/11, this is a little bit of a stretch, because he reaches England in the space of a few hours, unless
Concorde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless the stuff where he's arguing about Doug the Head about was maybe a day or so before Benicio del Toro approached the bookies, before he got knocked out in the van by Tyrone and his impeccable driving skills. I don't know. It's because it does sort of like be a bit inconsistent with the timestamps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very good sort of like little quick cutaway as well, just to sort of like get all the mundane things out of the way. And yeah, Mike Reed's like Avi, and is like, sit down and shut up, you big bald fuck. Pure delivery, great delivery from him. But I don't like leaving my country, Doug, and I don't like leaving it for anything less than warm sandy beaches and cocktail weenies with little straw hats. We got sandy beaches. And he's like, so who the fuck wants to see them? I love it.
But
I love it.
he's also quite an intimidating character, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and he does play nasty very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Midnight Run as well. I thought he was a very, very nasty bastard in that one. But yeah,
I liked him as Ray Bones actually in Get Shorty. I thought it was really good as Ray Bones.
God, he's good in that. He's so good in that.
Just that's one of the best characters ever written.
Yeah.
But he just, every nasty character he plays just does not give a fuck about anything apart from himself. And he does it very well every time.
Yeah. So now we're back to it's night time now. They're still waiting for Frankie Four Fingers. Was right behind them. He's right behind them. So now Avi and Doug have to get inside to the fight as well to find out, to try and find Frankie Four Fingers. And it's obviously he's already hating England, and now he's got more reasons to hate us. They've had to be stopped like 5 fucking times just to be let into this illegal fight. But now we're getting back to the robbery as well, and the guy walks in, but they didn't get a chance to see if he had 4 fingers or not, so they're thinking, fuck it. We're taking no chances, let's go in there and rob the place. And he's like, he's just behind you, you fucking knocked him out, you've got him.
He's in the van, isn't he?
I know, but that's what makes it funny as well. They're idiots. They've, every opportunity to fucking get this job done just seems to go over their heads. But, they just make it worse as well. I mean, I love this woman as well. She does not give a fuck. She's just
she's like straight to the point, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sydney Seddon, she's called.
Yeah, I like her. She's badass. She's only got a short little role though, but she plays it really fucking well. She's like, all bets are off. If there's no bets, there can't be any money, can there? He's like, I ain't fucking buying that. Well, that's Andy, because I ain't fucking selling it. It's a fact.
It's good.
Yeah, because he gets trapped in the shutters as well. It's like, what? He's holding them at gunpoint and he gets trapped in the shutters. It's brilliant. It's so funny. It's very sort of exaggerated, but once again, it's the way he shoots it, the way it's executed. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of this that are, a typical kind of goofball comedy. I mean, almost slightly Marx Brothers, if you like. It really is. I
kind of get the feeling of the Alien comedies as well, where you got these bunch of people getting in a situation and it's all going wrong for them.
Yeah.
I kind of get that
just
as well.
Steers on the right side of slapstick, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It doesn't push it too hard, I don't think.
And it still feels real despite the goofiness. I mean, everything still looks very real and gritty and
certainly relatable, because a lot of the time, some of the things that the characters say or do, like we've all either seen it, heard it, or done it ourselves. So I think that's part of the mass appeal of these kinds of films as well, is the relatability.
Well, again, I mean, he did say that a lot of the dialogue that he uses, it's stuff that he has heard from different characters down the pub, from when he was a youngster up until the time that he started making films. And that's exactly what most filmmakers, I think most writers do. It's an observation thing, isn't it? It's something that you pick up.
The good ones do.
Yeah.
The ones that we have now that have no life experience whatsoever seem to not have that skill, if you like.
No. I mean, we are going to be lumbered with a generation of young filmmakers that the only thing that they know of is the way people speak to each other and deliver their dialogue on TikTok, and that's going to be it. So you can imagine, in 10, 15, 20 years' time, the kind of movies that we're going to be watching.
Yeah, exactly. I weep for that. I really do. It kind of got banned, but then got brought back on, didn't it?
What's that?
TikTok.
Oh, in America, yeah, they put a. I don't know what's going on with that. To be honest, they put a stop on it or a block on it.
Yeah, but then apparently it came back up, so I don't know. It's I don't really bother with it. I mean, I've had Toxic send me a few clips. I've watched a couple, but it just fucks about now. It's like every time I do click on it, it just puts me on some random shit that Toxic did not send me. So I've not really been bothering it on that for a while myself. So yeah, but back to this, he's all they've got to rob is copper coins, and he just leaves his fucking gun on the desk for her to grab. It's like, yeah, these guys should not be criminals. They should just stick to being fucking pawnbrokers, and that's it.
Yeah, just stick to being idiots. That's what they're good at.
I know. And once again, it's so good as well. It's just pure fucking simple jokes that you don't see coming. They think the door is locked, but they don't realise it's a fucking door that's meant to be opened that you pull when you're inside.
And that is actually based on a real CCTV footage of a bank robbery here in England, where all the shutters went up and the guy tries to get out of the door, and he's shoulder barging the door, doesn't realise that the door opens inwards. He's pushing the door to try and get out, and he's panicking. And of course, all the shutters have gone up at the counter. And he's screaming and screaming, open the door, open the door, open the door. And he's just barging it and barging it and barging it. And then somebody happens to walk into the bank, and he realizes that the door it opens inwards, and he fucks off. But there's a few of those bizarre. But I'm glad that he actually incorporated that into this, because it's, it does make it really stupid. Shows you the stupidity of some criminals.
I know. These are the perfect examples, because they take their fucking balaclavas off.
Yeah.
In front of the CCTV camera and don't realise it's there. It's like, what the hell? It's like, we're fucked. Occasionally, Tyrone. There's a couple of times where Tyrone ends up being the smarter of them of the three.
Yeah.
He does. It's only a little occasionally as well. I mean, he's the one that opens the door for him, letting them out. And he's the one that catches Frankie Four Fingers trying to get out of the truck and realizes, oh, that's the guy who was after all along. And he's like, who's this guy? And he's like, it's a man with 4 fingers and a briefcase. I know all that trouble, all that fucking trouble as well. This is where we get to the fight as well, and yeah, I love this line. He looks like a fat fucker. Well, he is a fat fucker, but he's mean and he's dirty. And once again, it's just a series of characters that just cannot catch a fucking break, no matter what. Just like more bad stuff keeps happening, making the situation worse, and it's in a situation with very dangerous people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not the fucking guy out as well. And even Bricktop's in it as well, because I like the fact that Bricktop kind of becomes a little bit fucking sheepish as well here with these other guys, because it's kind of telling that he's a dangerous guy, but these guys are probably much more nastier than he is.
Exactly, isn't it? I mean, if Bricktop, the crazy maniac, is scared of these guys, like,
I know.
Who are these guys?
The bigger fish, aren't they, compared to him?
Yeah.
Sharks.
I know. Yeah. But he doesn't fuck about with this guy, though. I mean, he's happy to stab this fucker.
Slashes his hand, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he knows he can.
Yeah.
And obviously, Boris the Blade is coming back to the pawn shop workers. And okay, this is actually a pretty decent example of the Dutch angle, which, yeah, it's to show that something is very off here as well, and the situation isn't very good. And it works here as well, especially as a very stylish aesthetic. But they've discovered that I think they already knew that the storm was in the case anyway, but now they didn't get any money off it or whatever, so they get a bit fucking greedy as well, don't they? Saying, listen, we want some of the fucking stone. All right, we may as well just keep the whole thing ourselves. And he even says his name right in front of Frankie Four Fingers as well. So now that leads Boris to bloody kill him, because he's supposed to not look like he's not involved in it, especially since it's his brother who organised the whole plan in the first place.
Yeah.
The only problem is now the stone is locked in the case, and the only guy with the combination is attached to the fucking guy he's killed. So what does he do? He just chops his fucking arm off, and I love that he flinch as well. But now we've got Turkish as well. He's coming in to try and do a fucking runner, but unfortunately, Bricktop is already 10 steps ahead of him because his goons are in there as well. And the Turkish is not in a very good situation. He had this chance to get away from it all, but now he's trapped, and it's looking like he's deeper in it now, especially with Bricktop. A situation that you just do not want to be in. And there has been plenty of deleted scenes with his goons as well, especially with their encounters with Bullet-Toothed Tony. But it's cut out of the film, and I'm really glad they did, because it really does drag along and it kills the pace. And especially when you've got such a very tightly written movie like this, tightly structured movie like this.
Yeah, but I like you. I mean, you mentioned about the escalation of things, and I like the way the situation escalates. Continuously. It just cranks up and cranks up and cranks up consistently. And for the most part, these are situations that are not of their devising. It's not not their fault. It's not Tommy and Turkish's fault that they're getting deeper and deeper into the situation that they're in, really. Or it's a minor situation that creates the escalation. But I like that. I like the way the tension's ramped up with, the stakes are ramped up pretty much with each act of the movie.
I know, and it never feels convoluted as well, even though you've got all these like storylines sort of merging with or against each other. It's I don't know. It takes someone really with some talent to actually put a lot of the convoluted storylines together and still make it seem, still give it some pace and still not seem confusing. You still get what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
There's
almost the end is like that sort of drawstring moment, isn't it, where it's pulled, and everything is really sort of tightly pulled together. It's great.
I know, and they're not only in a bad situation with Boris and the dead body now. They're in a bad situation with Bricktop because it was his bookies that they robbed. Yeah. So they're in even deeper shit now, and Bricktop is not one to take kindly to people robbing his rackets anyway.
Yeah. But
I mean, this seems like a good way for them to just get out. I mean, they've got 10 grand now, so just do a fucking run it, get out while you can. The situation is just going to get worse.
But everyone's situation is getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like everybody's.
I love the little metal. What do they call them? Those little clips on the collars that cowboys have. It's I forgot what they're called now.
Cowboy clips.
Yeah, and something like that. But because it's kind of like Russians, aren't they? Trying to embrace Western culture. They always have that. They always seem to have a penchant for that sort of thing. But
and I love John Wayne.
Yeah,
I love John
Wayne. The 10 grand along with the body, and if I see you again, you motherfuckers. It's got this really sort of hoarse, whispery voice as well, and he still comes off as a dangerous adversary. But it's looking like Bricktop is still going to give them another chance as well, and he does want Mickey to do it again because he's probably got no choice as well. He can't find any other fighters, so Mickey's the only choice.
I mean, he could get rid of Turkish and Tommy, no problem. But he seems that he's indebted to those other two guys now, isn't he? So
exactly. I know.
He's got to work a way out of that. So
yeah. So Bricktop's in a situation himself now. So it's
Yeah.
like, damn, even Bricktop's in the situation, and he's one of
Exactly.
the most baddest fuckers on the planet here. So now even fucking robs his savings as well. I mean, what an asshole!
Dirty
What an
bastard.
absolute asshole! So now he's got to find out who robbed his bookies as well, and obviously they're trying to talk Mickey back into it. And I don't know if Tommy has a thing for Mickey's mum, or if he's just kissing up to her as well, just buttering her up. I think it's the.
I think he's horny.
Yeah, I think it's the latter.
It's horny Tommy.
Sorry?
It's horny Tommy. He's attracted to that Irish brogue.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, as soon as Mickey handed the picture of his mum to him, Tommy had that big smile on his face, didn't he? It's like, I don't know. Yeah, and I like her little role as well. She does very well in the small little role she's given as well. He's like, I don't want my boy getting into trouble. He's a good boy. So he's out coursing. And I love the fact that these few little bits that explain it, this very sort of abridged explanation of it, is cut into these little sections with him in the car driving to them walking on the field. So he's obviously doing a much more convoluted explanation of it, and we're just seeing the much more trimmed down version of it.
Yeah.
But I like that. It's still funny as well. It keeps the pace going as well. It keeps things moving properly. So yeah, they've got these little betting matches where they basically get a greyhound to try and chase a rabbit, don't they? So yeah,
they're lurchers, aren't they?
Lurchers, yeah.
It's like, you know these tits? I know a lot of tits, but I don't know anyone half as fucking stupid as these two. But they know this guy though, don't they? They know Tyrone already.
Yeah.
So they have a lead now. They have a lead. Yeah, back to the campsite in the field. Mickey's not really up for the offer of doing the fight again. So now they've got one choice: either they succeed in the coursing bet, then Mickey will do the fight. And it's like, all right, I reckon Big Rabbit gets fucked. It's like, what? Proper fucked. Once again, the joke gets. Once again, the joke comes back. You know, does the rabbit get proper fucked? Is yes. Before the Germans get here. Yeah.
The Germans.
So, and I love this as well. I like the little contrast as well with the greyhounds chasing the rabbit while Tyrone is getting hunted down by Bricktop's men before he unleashes his fucking dogs onto him. Yeah, I love the fact that they kick his belly in as well, so he can fit into the boat.
Yeah,
that's so bad.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, and you don't hear any words. You just hear the music playing, and that's all you need to know. And obviously they aren't very good at withstanding torture because he gives them up straight away. I mean, yeah, these guys should not be getting involved in crime whatsoever. They just haven't got the kind of stomach for it. But they're idiots, so what do you expect? Obviously, they lose the bet, and they've got no. And they're kind of up shit's creek now. It's like I love how Jason Statham resorts to sort of like calling out Tommy and his bullshit. It's like, why didn't you fucking shoot him then? And he even calls out like the gun probably doesn't work, and he's like, "Are you saying I can't shoot?" He's like, "I'm not saying you can't shoot. I know you can't shoot. I'm just saying that piece of shit stuck in your trousers will probably do more damage if you threw it at him." So you're saying the gun don't work? You tried it? And yeah, it doesn't work. He's had this gun all along and he's not tested it. Once again, Tommy proving what an absolute fucking genius he is. Not testing out a gun he just bought. So now he's got Goldie trying to help him dispose of the body because he's the closest thing to a gangster. And then Bricktop shows up and he does this fucking great monologue about feeding pigs. And I just love how great and in-depth and I forgot in detail he goes about it as well. And everyone's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, you know what nemesis means? An owl can Me.
Righteous infliction.
Yeah. So now this means they've got to get back into the plot, doesn't it? Because they're kind of in Bricktop's debt now. They've robbed his bookies, and they have to make it up to him. They've got to get the diamond now as compensation for what they fucking did. Compensation for the insults they inflicted on him by trying to rob his bookies. So now Avi and Doug are basically trying to figure out where to find Frankie Four Fingers. It's like he's disappeared off the map. They have no idea where he is. So the twins suggest hiring Bullet-Tooth Tony because he's one of the guys that may be able to fucking find him. Because he's one of those guys that can find people. He's good at tracking people. And we get a nice bit of exposition why it's called Bullet-Tooth Tony and how dangerous he is. He's survived 6 shots and 1 to the mouth, and he's used the bullets as to replace the teeth that was blown out of his mouth. And yeah, I love Vinnie Jones in this as well. I like the fact that he has gotten back on track lately with his latest performance in The Gentleman. Because he had a bit of a funny stint, didn't he, doing all these really bad DVD movies.
It's nearly as bad as Steven Seagal at one point, wasn't he? Just
I know.
B movies and C movies.
I mean, I think a lot of his stuff was after his wife had passed away, wasn't it? He did some sort of questionable stuff. So, and he kind of became a little bit more family friendly, I think.
He's got a series out, hasn't he? Vinnie Jones has got a series out which is almost akin to Clarkson's Farm, if you want to look it up. I mean, really? I meant to watch it myself. My son watched it and said it's really good. It's about him being almost like a country gent and running this sort of farm and land, and he's got I think he's got a new partner now. So it's just pretty much his life as is at the moment. It's supposed to be really entertaining.
Yeah, I know, because I'd realised a few years back he was getting more accustomed to the country life, and good luck to him.
Yeah,
I don't know if he lost his wife to cancer a while back. I know he was going through a bad time now, but But all the best to him though. Is I like the fact he's back on form. I liked him in the Gentleman TV series, and I really can't wait for the second season. I hope he comes back in it.
Just further to what I was saying, it's called Vinnie Jones in the Country, and apparently it's on Prime Video. If anybody's interested,
check it out. Yeah, Bricktop needs an origin story that shows he's not such a bad guy after all. Timothy Chalamet, perhaps. Yeah, you should make a guide on how to you should make a how to guard a real crime. Sorry, I'm trying to read that. What is it? You should make a how to guard to real crime. Fuck. Sorry, man. Yeah, Mystery, I love how Boris takes his time to put in the earplugs. Yeah, that's actually a nice little touch that I was wondering, when I first watched that, I thought, does he have like a deaf ear or something? And he sort of just turns it off before he shoots so it doesn't, fucking burst his eardrums. I don't know. But yeah, Bullet-Tooth Tony is introduced, and I love it. He's just slamming this guy's head, which is a nice little callback to Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I almost thought, for a minute, if he might be kind of related to the same character he played in that movie. But
was it the same bloke again?
Yeah.
Poor lad.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just aggressively slamming this guy's head apart. Then he answers the phone and he's like, bonjour. Very casual, like, very funny. So he has got some very good comic timing there, Vinnie Jones. He has his. He wasn't always the best actor, but when he's given it, when he has a good director, he seems to be at his best.
Yeah, I think when he's comfortable, because obviously you have to remember that he's not an actor. He is. In acting terms, he's new to acting. In comparison to most of the other people that he's played opposite.
Oh yeah, exactly, and I think he does want to calm down a bit. I think when he was in The Gentleman, he seemed a bit more. He didn't seem much like a mean bastard. He seemed like a very sort of humble guy, a nice guy you could sort of like talk to and hang out with. He's very he seems much kinder in this. While here he's not full on psychotic. He's just a bit of an hard bastard who knows he has to be ruthless when he has to be, and he's still very likable. And you kind of would like this guy on your side in a fucking if things get fucking hectic, because he looks like he does come across as someone who knows how to handle himself. And he comes across incredibly professional as well, very professional.
We all know how he handled himself on the football pitch.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, man! Yeah, he had a bit of a reputation as a footballer, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. Yeah.
Was it Gazza's balls he fucking twisted on the?
And whose nose was it that he nearly? Was that Gazza's nose that he nearly bit off?
Damn, man, yeah.
That he stuck his he just sunk his teeth into his nose. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's like that anymore. Maybe he's just young and stupid back then, but I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't think I've heard anything bad about him for fucking years now. So I think he had a fight with Tamar Hassan from Football Factory a while back, and I think Tamar Hassan won the fight. I don't know, but it's unconfirmed, so I can't really say. But I don't like Vinnie Jones in this. I liked him in Mean Machine. He had a good little stint in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But he knows word about the bookies being robbed, and he's like, bookies were black. And he's like, will you speak English? I thought the country vetted the fucking language, and all of a sudden people can't seem to speak it. And I do like the little dynamic between Bulletproof Tony and Avi as well, especially in this scene with Ewan Bremner, who plays Mullet. So he's basically the fucking guy who knows a lot, but if you have to sort of like squeeze him enough just to fucking get some information out of him.
Yeah.
And he's one that you can easily get information out of, and he traps his head in the fucking car window and just drives along the street with him.
What is it he says? Fucking hell, Matty, you've been brushing your teeth with dog shit again.
Poor lad. He brings such a touch of class to the movie as well.
Yeah, obviously he spills the beans. It was like there was a couple of black guys at Huntington pawnbrokers. You know, they robbed the bookies last night. So now So now they know where to go. And I like how Avi is a little bit. Is like it's effective. It's not too subtle, but effective. So yeah, Avi doesn't seem to be a guy who likes to cause harm when he doesn't need to. I know. So he always seems a bit squeamish a couple of times. It's like, well, do you want to shoot him? It's like, well, it's a little loud, isn't it? It's like, well, do you want to stab him? Well, it's a little cold-blooded, isn't it? It's like, you're gangster, mate. Let the fucking muscle do their job, man. But obviously, once again, they got more fucking trouble. They've got the Bulletproof Tony putting the gun to him, asking him where the diamond is and everything, and now they're telling him it's Boris the Blade, and now they know about it. And because Mickey's not playing ball, Bricktop's not fucking happy with Turkish's efforts to get him to fight. So now Bricktop shows what an horrible fucker he is, because he's going to send a message now. He's going to have his guys trash Turkish's arcade and burn Mickey's caravan with his mum in it. And this is probably one of the more darker moments in the fucking movie as well, especially when you got You Were My Angel playing as well, which is a song that don't get played enough these days. I like that song.
Yeah, me too. But it was I thought this was an unexpected turn. Actually.
It was,
it went from being very, very, very funny, these great one-liners and these situations where, you, as you said before, almost like in an Ealing comedy, like the Lavender Hill Mob or something like that, to something as dark as this, and it's grim. It's really it's actually it's almost an exclamation mark within the story, within the acts. It sort of it halts the act. You know, this is it. This is the end of the act, and then we go into the next act where everything really starts up. But yeah, it's a horrible scene. I think really unpleasant.
Yeah, you do feel sorry for Mickey a little bit here. You really feel sorry for Mickey because it's kind of just being this very funny sort of like Irish stereotypical sort of gimmicky character. He's got the one punch, he's dodgy, but this does make him actually sympathetic, and it does up the stakes a little bit more as well, especially for the situation, and it does give Mickey to incentive to move the plot a bit forward as well. He's got no choice now because he knows Bricktop will probably do more harm to his friends and his other and all everyone else in the site, and it shows he does care about the people in the site as well.
But this is the actual the point of no return for so many of the characters.
It is. I think I don't think Bricktop. I think Mickey knows exactly what's going to happen from this point. Sorry to disagree with you, Luke, about saying that Mickey's going to sort of realize that he's got to protect his friends. I think he knew exactly from that moment on exactly what was going to happen and who was going to pay for it. I think Bricktop had absolutely no fucking idea.
I agree.
What wheels he'd set in motion from this point on. And like you say, Gary, there's absolutely no coming back from this act. And we have seen, like we said before, we've seen comedy.
It's the look on his face, isn't it? Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that look on his face. Yeah, he wants revenge now. He does. Yeah.
He does say, "I'll do the fight because I don't want any more carnage," but he wants the fight because he wants to put his plan in motion. This is where it takes a really, really dark turn. We've had the parody and the levity and the jokes. It's been interspersed with sort of dark moments, but this is it. This is the pinnacle. This is the inciting incident that's going to bring about Bricktop's demise, if you like.
And of course, it does make the end considerably sweeter as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Nix wants us to go back a few slides and leave it up for 30
Yeah, did I miss some boobs?
I know what you mean. You dirty dog. Love it.
Dirty old man.
Yeah, listen, you want him to get his revenge as well. You want Bricktop to die because he's a nasty fucker. He is. He's a very nasty guy. He deserves his comeuppance. And I do love this bit as well, where Tommy actually does show some initiative a little bit as well, and he does actually show this kind of blinding loyalty, this sort of not blinding loyalty, some deserved loyalty towards Turkish, because Turkish has pretty much been sort of like taking the heat for his ass up to this point. So yeah, he comes through for him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell he's shitting himself. He knows the gun doesn't work, and those guys are probably going to kill him. But he's doing something. He's helping his friend out. It's one of the few moments where he actually does come across genuinely badass. And there's nothing more badass than a person who's scared but still braves the storm, for lack of a better term. And yeah, it's cool. I really like this as well. He does this little skip as well before he fucks off. Because he's just dying to get out of there as well before they realise he's bluffing. But even Turkish and fucking Tommy feel bad about what's happened as well. It's like, Jesus Christ. Because this is fucking extreme. This is crazy. I mean, an innocent woman has just died here.
Yeah, in the most horrific way as well.
I know, and she's come across actually very likable, maybe a little bit too forgiving towards Mickey and his conning ways, but you know, she didn't deserve that. She really didn't. I never felt she deserved it anyway.
No.
Yeah, Ian Fleming comes over as well and is like, "You got some tires on you to come up here." Yeah, and this is where he's like, "Yeah, I'll do the fight." I think he does still care about the people he works with because they're obviously willing to fucking do the job for him as well after what's happened. So there obviously is this loyalty between the community here. So now what more can you tell about Boris the Blade? And he's like, ex-KGB, he's a top secret undercover agent. He'll be impossible to track down. And he's right there as well, trying to sell a diamond to him. It's like, what the fuck? And it doesn't just jump right into the humor as well. It sort of takes its time a little bit as well. Just lets us sort of breathe a little before we start to adjust. Lets us adjust to what's just happened, because that's what comedy is, a bit of timing. Not like Marvel, where they have something very serious, they just throw a gag in straight away, which very compromises the drama of what has happened. So yeah, obviously they're not in a very good situation here. They're fucked up by what's happened. Yeah, so it's like, be careful. He's like, don't worry, I can handle it. And it just cuts to him straight in the car. They're all fucked up. They're bruised. They're battered. His muscle is badly injured. He's probably wounded and probably does need a hospital. And he's like, you shoot the fuck. They get me to a hospital. It's like, don't worry, we're going to get you to a hospital. And not just any doctor, a nice Jewish doctor. But first, we got to get that fucking sneaky Russian and get the diamond. Yes, obviously they're down to his Boris the Blade's house now to get the diamond. And obviously Lenny, Vinny and Saul and Tyrone have to get the diamond as well, otherwise Bricktop's going to feed them to the pigs. So he's managed to get his hand on some replicas, and I don't know if they were sold to them a while back and he had trouble selling them. I don't know, but they're there, and it's obviously not going to bode well for them, because, as we found out later. So yeah, and Tyrone has obviously been keeping an eye on the house as well, and he's tried to warn them, but because they're two fucking idiots, they'd put the phone down and head there straight away. It's like, why didn't you tell us, Tyrone? And he has this little look on his face. It's like, but once again, these are very funny characters. You just can't help but like them, even though they're idiots. I mean, yeah. I like Tommy in Turkish, even though Tommy's a bit of an idiot as well, but he's got some good chemistry with Jason Statham there. I've said this a lot about most movies, but they do bring a lot of history on screen, just by the way they act and interact with each other.
Could have done a series, Turkish and Tommy.
Yeah. I would love to have seen all of them as well, but I don't think we need to. You kind of get the idea. With all the prequels that have been released, unnecessary prequels, I don't want to see a prequel on these guys. I kind of get the idea anyway, but they work well because they've got a good script. They've got Guy Ritchie, who seems to be a director they trust deeply, especially Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So now they've got the diamond, and they want to. They have to dispose of Boris the Blade as well, because he's a dangerous fucker. He's obviously too dangerous to be kept alive, especially with the diamond. And now we've got this little sort of entwining. The storylines start to sort of like run into each other, for lack of a better term, don't we? Because they're having this little talks with these cars, unknowing that these events are going to lead them to the situation that they will eventually be led to, if that makes sense. They've got them testing out the replicas, and yeah, like a fucking idiot, he shoots the replicas in the car, blowing out the windows, because blanks will still fucking cause damage at close range. They will.
The problem with actual blank firing replicas, the barrels are completely blocked. There's nothing. You have no discharge. There's literally no discharge from the barrel of the gun at all.
Simping? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, so yeah, the replicas are blocked off. So I don't know. Can it still cause some kind of?
No, because what they have is they have these. You have, certainly in this country, I don't know about elsewhere in the world, but of course this takes place in this country, and the replicas do have vents for the discharge, but the vents are actually on the side or beyond the underneath the actual gun itself, so nothing comes out of the barrel. It's completely solid. It's a completely solid piece.
So
they might have been working on the premise that the sound waves from the gun may have shattered the glass. I think that's probably what Ritchie was thinking. Whether it works or not like that, I don't know.
Yeah, because he points the gun upwards, doesn't he? And the windows on the side shatter. So and he's obviously holding his ears as well, which which is going to cause some fucking serious.
Oh yeah, it would have hurt your lugs, definitely.
I know, but it shows they're idiots as well, because it's like, well, he said to test them out, and it's like, I don't mean in the fucking car. And I get the feeling that Vinny kind of is smarter than Lenny, but he's kind of an idiot too. and they do have different dynamics. Vinny probably is a little bit more eager to jump into something without looking, and Lenny is a bit more cautious, while Tyrone probably is kind of an idiot as well, but he ends up doing a bit more right when he needs to. But unfortunately, he's stuck with these assholes that are getting him into this crazy situation. And for some reason they hit a fucking body, and you found out later it's Boris the Blade.
Yeah, when I watched this today, and I thought they'd re-edited the movie, because I thought, well, where's that body come from? Surely that's Boris? But like you said, all becomes apparent. It's
I know later on, and
the way they have actually edited it.
Yeah, then we come on to this bit where Tom is talking about the human digestive system isn't used to dairy products, and he's like, let me give you a favor, let me do you a favor. Takes the milk off him, throws it out, and we hear the car crash.
Aye.
Yeah. It turns out, and we see that earlier as well with they're debating on how to kill Boris, but then the milk hits them. It's like, where did that milk come from? Then it comes apparent as well. Everything's sort of like as meshed together, but just out of order, which is cleverly done, and it just makes it funnier. You could have still done this in order, but I don't think it would have been half as funny as it was earlier. Yeah, and Rosebud is fucking dead as well, because the crash has caused him to be impaled on the sword. It's like, what? Yeah, and this looks like a very heavily Indian area as well. So, because I see a lot of Indian faces in that in the background there. So Boris has been run over. So they think he's dead. They think, fuck it, let's just have a part now and try and sort out this diamond, and now we can get paid. And and obviously after the events, Tommy is now at Boris's house, unknowing that he's not in the house right now. He's like, be careful, Tommy, he's dangerous. Like, well, I want a gun that works. I know I'm going to tell him. So I think he's feeling brave after his little encounter with Bricktop's men. So I was like, you know what? I can take this fucker on. Why not? Right up until Bricktop grabs his balls. Yeah, and he just walks out as well with this, and he looks like he's having a bit of a breakdown as well. He's just all battered and bruised, and he's like going ha 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 ha, while holding an AK-47 with a grenade launcher attached to it. That's some serious fucking arsenal, that. Yeah, sorry about that. And now we're on to the scene where back to the pub, where Vinny, Lenny, and Tyrone are trying to fucking rob the diamond off them, but Gold Tooth Tony's not buying at all. He's just not doing. He's just not selling. He's not buying. I do apologise there. And I like how he looked into his beer glass as well to see what was happening. And he just sits down calmly and is like, "Give me the diamond, or we'll shoot you." And he's like, "Who are you?" They tried to hit him, and it's a good little way of saying that he's caught a glimpse of what guns they're using as well, which leads to this great little which means that they aren't going to fucking kill him. They have not got the equipment to do that. The guns are replicas. They're completely harmless. And so now he can get the drop on them as well. He can make them sort of quiver with fear with this little monologue about them being little faggot balls. I love that. And he does get to them as well. They start to wean a little bit as well. They start to piss themselves a little bit. And it's like, and the fact that you got replica written on the side of your gun. we got this cool little whip shot with the replica on the side of the gun, and he's like, I got Desert Eagle .50 written on mine. And it's like, yeah, they're not going to fucking rob this bastard. It's too dangerous. They run off defeated. Then they're running to Avi, who's got the fucking diamond, and okay, they've not seen Replica now, guns, we'll rob him. And Avi's just not. Avi looks like he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He's just nearly died a couple of times, taking on Boris, and he's like, fucking hell, shoot me. Gotta respect him, he's got some balls. Love Dennis Farina.
Yeah.
And for a guy and even though Guy Ritchie claims not to be a big fan of Tarantino, we've got a bit of a standoff here, haven't we?
Yeah.
And he's like, give me the stone. And he's like, you know what? Fuck you too. Love it. I love Dennis Farina. He's awesome.
He's past caring at this point, isn't he?
I know. Yeah, and Vinnie Jones is listening on the other side as well. He must have super fucking hearing because he tells Harry to pull his socks up and he just starts shooting at the wall. And yeah, a Desert Eagle will do that. That's a powerful handgun. That'll go through a brick wall.
It's just a hand cannon that'll
go
through the block of a truck engine. Stop a bus at 30 yards. It's a 50 caliber handgun, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a powerful thing. It's basically same as a Magnum, like the most powerful Magnum. A 45 anyway. And once again, Boris proving it's just impossible to kill. He's like just shooting the fuck out of him like 50 times, and he just keeps going, you missed. You didn't kill me, and he just keeps shooting him. Thankfully, Tyrone is wounded, but he doesn't get the last bullet. But it is looking like Boris the Blade has died, though, because we never see him again. Did he die?
I think he's going to be in the sequel, I think.
Is there going to be a sequel?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, very overdue sequel.
Everything's possible.
Yeah. So now they've got the diamond. They can get to Bricktop. They can get themselves out of trouble.
Snatch 2. It's called Snitch.
Yeah, Snatch 2 shit. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, every character has some good chemistry. They work well together. They got some great dialogue that does match these characters really well. And he's put the diamond down a very sort of private area. And he's like, what are you doing that for? Because in case we got robbed. Well, okay, who's going to rob? 2 black men sitting in the car holding pistols. He's like, Bullet-Tooth Tony and his Desert Eagle .50 because he stood right there. It's like, because they've already established they know where they work anyway, so of course he's gonna go straight to their place. So, yeah,
didn't get his new caravan, did he? Poor lad.
No, he didn't. He's still got that little shitty little place. Bless him. And you do actually feel a bit sorry for these two as well because they've got no other choice now. Because if Mickey knocks this guy out, they're dead, and they're going to be fed to the pigs. It's like, well, what happens if we do a runner? We'll get killed before we leave the club. We get murdered before we leave the building, and worse, we get fed to the pigs. And he has this big outburst for with Tommy as well, because Tommy's like really panicking. Is like, how can you be so calm? And it's like, did you hear what I said? And it's like, listen, I heard what you said. You tell me how to control a fucking wild gypsy. You tell me how to, and I'll tell you how to control a pig feeding gangster. And yeah, he does pretty well in this scene as well. And we've got the gypsies having this big fucking knees up for his mum. He's getting really fucking drunk. He's just getting plastered. And he sells it well in this scene. He actually does come across as a bit of a fucking lad here, Brad Pitt. And they've not even been out of the building for like a couple of minutes, and already the place has been trashed by the dog. So obviously they're trying to make some excuse to stall them, to get them off the hook and say that the dog ate it. But And I love this as well. He's very Avi's been very hesitant about how Boris the Blade gets killed, but as soon as the fucking dog has to be killed for him to get the diamond, he's willing to gut that dog alive. While Bulletooth Tony is not very happy about killing the dog. It's like he's very hesitant in it. I kind of like that. And I think this scene, the dog was actually chewing on his jacket because he was trying to play with him. And it was all improvised. It was not planned. It just happened. But Guy Ritchie just kept filming the scene anyway, which is a nice little... I always I like these little bits where movies just let a scene play out, even though it's not originally planned.
Yeah. Sometimes get the best stuff, don't you?
Yeah, they do, yeah. And I love that.
That dog went fucking mental in this scene. I'm sure it was attacking everybody. No, just keep rolling, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that dog definitely had energy. I mean, I think it's a staffy as well. These staffies can be very boisterous when they want to be. It's the pit bulls that I use for dog fightings. I mean, they're much milder breed, and I've come across many staffies. They're good little dogs. They are. Obviously, they think the jig is up. They don't want to see the dog die, which I'm glad anyway, because I'm glad the dog didn't get fucking killed for it. Because I would have been too fucking mean spirited. I would have been sad. But then the dog fucking snatches the diamond off them and runs out, and I like how he just rapidly just randomly shoots all over the place, and he kills Tony. It's like, what the hell? You don't even see Tony's body. You just see Avi look down, and he's like, Tony, and he looks. Yeah, he just has this look on his face, and he's like, you know what? Fuck this mess. I just want to go home now. I don't care. Forget the money. I can make off this diamond. It's caused too much trouble. So now they're left with a fucking body now. It's like they've got 2 dead bodies they've got to get rid of. And this is where we're at the final climax now. And this is where it's, the point of no return, like one of you said earlier. Yeah, and Mickey's just really trashed now. Is like, is he going to be able to walk to the fucking ring now? The guy is so fucked up, and he pulls out the flask and is like, you just can't give him a drink. It's like, it's not for him, it's for me. It's like, yeah, what else? You need in this fucking situation, you need a drink to calm your nerve. This is dangerous. I mean, if he doesn't make it to the fight, they're fucked. If he's sober enough to fucking knock the guy out in one punch, they're fucked either way. So they just got to hope one situation is less dangerous than the other. Yeah, Bricktop's got his men ready for him as well in case they try and do a fucking runner. And yeah, this is where we come on to the climax right now. We've got men waiting at the campsite, ready to fucking burn that place to the ground if it all goes wrong. And once again, the Dutch angle's actually being used effectively here because we don't know how fucking bad this situation is going to turn out just yet. We don't. And it's looking like it will do. And it's very unnerving. Yeah, and even Bricktop's a bit sceptical about this guy as well. And now we're coming on to the fight, and it's we got fucking in the bushes playing in the background by Oasis, and
the soundtrack to this movie is absolutely banging, isn't it?
The soundtrack is great. We've got the specials with Ghost Town. We've got it is. I mean, Guy Ritchie really does bring some really good classic songs. I mean, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels with James Brown as well was brilliant. I love that song. So.
But he actually, it's funny because it's talking about the music for this and for Lock, Stock. He said that all the music that he uses in his films, all the tracks that he uses, these are all tracks that were on the jukebox at his local pub where he used to drink. And he always wanted to try and find a way of including the playlist on his jukebox from his pub. So and this is how he managed to do it.
And it doesn't feel like it's just been sort of thrown in there for the sake of it. It actually somehow does complement the scenes very well. And I don't mind the shaky cam on this as well. Sometimes the shaky cam can be a little disjointed in movies, but this feels very well, because you're in a fight as well, and fights you're not always thinking straight when you're in a fight, because you're trying to avoid getting hit by the guy whilst trying to find a way to get the guy down. It's when I think back to the fights I've been in, they've all kind of been a blur, very painful blur.
Was that just last weekend?
Yeah, just last weekend, or maybe 5 minutes ago. I don't know.
It's just all a blur still.
Yeah, it's like what. But yeah, he knocks the guy down, and it's like, oh shit, fuck. Everybody's shitting themselves, but thankfully the guy gets up, and and it's looking like all that alcohol has really softened his punches a little bit here, or at least his coordination to level a powerful punch. And the thing with Brad Pitt, though, he does look like an actual someone who would be in a bare knuckle fight. You know, he's
does.
He's not clean cut like his usual Hollywood self. He looks rough. He looks like he hasn't bathed in days. He looks like he's been soaked in fucking alcoholic beverages. Everything is there. He looks the part.
He's in good shape as well, though, like physically.
Yeah. But I've seen plenty of guys who actually do look like good in shape as well.
This was just after Fight Club, wasn't it? This was after Fight Club?
Fight Club. Yeah. I think about a year after Fight Club. Yeah, and this guy actually does look like the fighter himself, though. I mean, I don't know who the fighter is, though, but he looks like he works out the gym, but occasionally will still feast on some junk food occasionally, because he doesn't look too shredded the way Brad Pitt does.
Fight Club was out in 1999, by the way. So
yeah, but obviously Mickey has been warned now to listen. Do you know the consequences of what will happen if you knock that man out? Do not knock him out. So Mickey starts pulling his punches, but he's doing it way too much now as well, to the point where if people start to cotton on this fight is rigged, they're gonna fucking go mad and berserk, and they'll probably fucking kill the people in charge as well for organising this. So obviously he's got to still hurt him just enough, but not knock him out, and then go down in the third. And I love that as well. It does look real grimy and sweaty and gross. You got the water mixing in with the blood from his cuts. And we do get a bit of surrealism as well from Guy Ritchie, where he gets knocked, and this is obviously green screen as well to make it a little bit more like he's just taking a big walloping now, and everything seems a bit fucking woozy in his head. But then he eventually gets up and he just knocks the guy out, and it's like, oh shit! All he had to do was stay down, and they're fucked. But then this is where we found out that Mickey has had a plan all along, and I love this as well. It's like, because it comes back to this later where it's like, give me the fucking shooter, and we cut to the reactions of them as the blast goes off, and you're thinking, oh, shit, they got shot, but then no. Why is Mickey looking all calm while everyone else is pulling a stupid face in in freeze motion? And it goes back to what you said, Fandad. This shot does establish that he's already after blood now.
He's cooking up a plan. That's the face of a man with a plan.
Yes, I think
the plan is vengeance and death.
Yeah, visually it does establish it even more. So yeah, and they've all been fucking hiding in plain sight. It's an ambush. The people outside the campsites get fucking blasted. Bricktop's men get blasted as well. Yeah. These guys, they were shooting Bricktop's men so they could take the car themselves. That's it. Yeah, I've just realised that now. Yeah, they die fucking brutally as well. People going crazy in the boxing club, and Jason Fleming gets a nice little moment. He's like, if you want to speak to your friend again, you have to speak louder than that. Boom. So Bricktop goes to the car. He's like, give me a shooter. And the guy's like, I'll give you a shooter, you fucking cunt. Bang. Blasts his head off.
Yeah, I know. I said earlier that there's a lot of sort of amateurish scenes and dialogue and performances in the movie, but I think they're far outweighed by the amount of competency on view in a lot of the scenes. Guy Ritchie seems to have an absolute penchant, if you like, for creating tension and dread and malice. And some of the lighting techniques when you're in with the gangsters, it makes you very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's scary to the fact.
Yeah, it's almost the kind of lighting that you'd have in a haunted house movie, isn't it? It's very much a horror movie. Very much horror movie set, I would say.
Generic conventions.
Yeah,
but were employed.
In terms of performances, I'm going to be really controversial here. I thought the weakest one was actually Jason Statham.
He didn't do a great deal, to be fair.
No,
I probably have to agree with you.
Yeah, he does take a backseat. I will agree with that. Cause he is kind of overshadowed by guys like Alan Ford and Vinnie Jones. I think he does well, sort of just playing this guy who's really he's really kind of caught in a bad situation, and I think that's it.
I just think that he was in Ross Kemp mode. That kind of acting. I thought he was. I actually thought he was pretty bland in it. I thought
he wasn't given great, like really great lines either, though. Gary, his banter with Tommy was what I was saying before. It's like that amateur sort of low budget movie feel. I know it is a low budget movie, but that sort of uninspired script, if you know what I mean.
I would even suggest that the Turkish was Tommy's sidekick. I thought Tommy was a far better written character than Turkish.
Could be argued, absolutely.
Really, I mean, he does take a backseat, but he does still have some good chemistry with Tommy, though, and you get the relationship with these guys straight away. So I don't know. I don't think Jason Statham was a much better character in Lock, Stock, and
so do I.
Yeah, Hummingbird as well. He was actually pretty good in that movie. He's, he shows he can actually act, when he's not given, stoic badass kind of guy.
I just think he plays Jason Statham very, very well.
Yeah, he does.
He knows what he's doing. Jason Statham knows what he's doing. Though.
He's got enough to a T, hasn't he?
I don't rate him as an actor. I just don't rate him as an actor at all.
He's an action star.
As an Olympic diver, he was great. But as an actor, no, I just can't. I don't like watching him. He's not watchable for me whatsoever. The only film that I found him watchable in was Lock, Stock, and that's because he was among other well-written, well-acted characters that in a great ensemble piece.
I thought you might have mentioned the Meg. I mean, that was his finest hour, was it not?
Yeah. What about Spy? Come on, he was actually funny in that fucking movie. It was probably the best thing in that movie, in my opinion. I mean, especially when you're in a movie with Melissa McCarthy. Fucking hell, it's
I don't know. He's one of those actors that I just don't understand his success. I don't understand it. I don't get why people rave about him and say, this guy's great. I don't get why people are putting him in their movies. I just don't get it.
I mean, he is kind of Marmite at times. I mean, there's a few films where this is kind of very bland, Jason Statham. I did not like The Mechanic 2. I mean, The Mechanic 1 wasn't the best film, but it was okay in places, and but he does actually seem like a nice guy. He's one of the few actors
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I think you just have to take him with a huge pinch of salt and with your tongue firmly in your cheek. I think the types of movies that he makes are just sort of easy to watch, action vehicles for him.
But I just can't stand that, that acting that he does. It's kind of, I'm
all
like,
the time.
Really, you can't do American accents.
Really, oh, God almighty, yeah.
Yeah,
American accent.
Cool.
Yeah, the guy that called Jet Li who's killing off the other Jet Lis, and
I'm a beekeeper.
American. I could just be British. I don't know why. he can't do an American accent, but God bless him, though. He does it every time, and he feels. But from what I've heard about him, he's not a total arsehole when it comes to his fame. He's kind of humble. He still goes out to see his old friends that he used to go to school with.
No, that's fair enough.
That's why I'm so forgiving about him. I'm like, all right, he can do as many crap movies as possible, but
he's a nice guy.
But he doesn't seem to get too up his own ass about it. He knows some of his movies are a paycheck. He knows people are there to see him just be a big bald-eyed bastard and kick some ass, and I kind of can't blame him for it. I mean, but do watch Hummingbird. That's if you can watch Hummingbird. That's actually a good film.
I mean, look, actors have a finite career, okay, and they have to take what's offered to them. You know, it's a living, and you have to take the rough with the smooth. You never know when that career is going to end. Hence, Sam Jackson taking everything that he's offered. John Hurt used to take everything that he was offered. He used to literally everything that John Hurt was offered, he would take, and he wouldn't even necessarily ask for wages for certain projects as well. When he's done so many movies for nothing and so many projects for nothing. Michael Caine used to take every job that he was offered because he never knew when it was going to end. So I can understand from any actor's viewpoint, why would you not take a movie that's going to earn you $15 to $20 million, you know, and you know, a percentage of the gross? Why would you not do that? I mean, you'd be absolutely bonkers not to. And I'm sure he realizes that he isn't Laurence Olivier, he's not Gene Hackman, he's not Richard Burton, you know, and he's not Clint Eastwood. But yeah, fair play to him. He's carved out his own little niche, and he's done very well for himself. And good luck to him. But I just don't rate him as an actor.
That's fair play. Because some actors do get a little bit up themselves, you know, when they get typecast, and they kind of do want to explore more avenues, and it doesn't always work, and it's kind of heartbreaking for them. But I think it's kind of like, but it's like you said with Michael Caine. I mean, sometimes, of course, it pays things, and sometimes they do it before the money, so they can maybe treat someone they care about. I mean, he obviously did Jaws 4 just to get his mum a new house. I mean, he even says it in interviews like,
I think it's brilliant. I think I do. And you have to admire these actors that absolutely will compromise their acting integrity to earn themselves a living. That's I think it's admirable, really.
Because I mean, some actors just that pretentious about the craft. I mean, Anthony Hopkins is like, oh, acting is just all pretentious. And I saw an interview with Timothy Oliphant with Conan O'Brien, and you got to watch his interviews with Conan O'Brien. They are fucking hilarious. I mean, I was saying, you're saying acting's easy. It's like, I just, they gave me the script. I read the lines. I see them on the screen. That's it. And yeah, I go admire Timothy Oliphant for his honesty there. He doesn't. Even criticized Jim Carrey for being pretentious with his method acting in as Andy Kaufman, which is really fucking hilarious. To tell you, watch that interview. It's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be easy. It cannot be easy. I mean, and look, to take away all of those, multi millionaires that are the high earners of actors, and you put the rest of the jobbing actors, in a row. I mean, these are people that really graft. They really do try, and they don't always get the roles that they go for. They still have to go to readings and auditions and all of that kind of thing. Whereas your Brad Pitts and your DiCaprios and your Stathams, they just get offered a part and that's it. And they offered a part, given a script, no audition process, and quite rightly so, because if you want to know how somebody acts, all you got to do is look at their last movies. That's why they don't have to go to auditions. They don't have to go through the whole casting process. but I've got a lot of admiration for actors, especially the jobbing actors. The ones that really do put themselves through it day after day after day.
Yeah, don't get too snobby with the roles. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll do this little role for this little kids film, but sometimes even a really good actor can make a stupid film be very
yeah.
entertaining, or sometimes because.
But you show me an actor that has never made a bad film, and I bet you can't.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, God, loads of actors have done bad films, but
Mhm.
there's always actors that always seem to be good, even when they're in bad stuff. I mean, Kurt Russell can be in a bad film, and he'll still be the best thing in it.
Yeah,
It's one of those things because
yeah,
even he's not totally pretentious about the craft of acting. He knows how to do it. He's had a father who was a jobbing actor, and that's why he's grown up so well adjusted, even though he was a child actor himself. And
mm.
it's another reason why I don't think I know anyone who hates Kurt Russell.
No, I mean he is a much loved actor, isn't he? He really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So yeah, fucking hell, we're at the end now of Snatch. The
Wow.
Mickey and his pals have now fucked off, and it's obviously Turkish has wanted to try to hire him as a fighter for him, but yeah, that's just not going to work out now because plus they've killed a lot of fucking gangsters. All right, people are going to go sniff around that area. They got to get out of there. That's a good thing about living in a campsite because something bad happens, you can move your home anywhere you like.
Yeah, yeah,
And obviously the police are onto it as well. I mean, they're suspicious of them, but thankfully, once again, all these things that just happened earlier always come into place, don't they? Like the dog
mm,
runs out with the diamond,
yeah,
swallowing the diamond. It's run out the pawnbrokers and it's landed back to the campsite because it's set up earlier that the dog had a habit of running away back to the campsite every time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't just like throw all this in at the last minute. I mean, it's like once again, setups, payoff, setup,
Mm,
payoff.
yeah. I mean, it's a really well put together film. I mean,
Mm.
even if you take away the cinematography, the acting, the editing, and everything, I think it's a really well crafted script. Um,
Yeah,
the plot threads are brilliantly interwoven. And I don't understand when you have a critic like Mark Kermode just because he just doesn't like the director,
I know.
why he would slam the director's work. Just because he doesn't like a person. I think it's a good piece of work. There are millions upon millions of other people that would completely disagree with him, um, and find his comments about Guy Ritchie pretty ridiculous and childish.
What
Yeah,
seems
no,
to be what is his issue?
Mm,
yeah, I always feel like
What
Matt Kermode is. He always comes across like he's playing it a bit safe. Too. He always comes across a bit too snobby for me. I mean, sometimes I agree with him. Other times I think, come on, man, lighten up a
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Lighten up a
yeah,
bit.
yeah. And then what he'll do is he'll suddenly find some kind of bubblegum movie that everybody hates and say, do you know what? I actually really liked it. I thought this was really good, and I thought this person put in a great performance. I mean, he is not the last word in film criticism. I mean, he criticizes films. He doesn't make them. Um, until he goes out and makes a movie of his own and writes a script of his own and directs a script, and makes his own movie, then he can you know he can really start slamming people. But I just think he reaches a point where he's not just insulting but rude about people. And actually quite nasty about people. Um, but I just think a lot of the stuff that he said about Guy Ritchie was completely unfounded. In his opinion, and it's an opinion that he's entitled to, as we all are. But
Mhm.
you know, there you go. Um,
Yeah, I mean, right. Even if something is bad, you still got to give credit where credit's due.
yeah,
I mean, I just reviewed The Wolf, man. Not shameless promotion, and it was a bad movie, but there were
yeah,
some bits in that where I thought, okay, this is. I don't think this is a bad idea, but it's just executed really
mm,
badly, and it's just not done in a way that was interesting. And I do make fun of stuff, but it's just at the end of it, it's just jokes,
But with the audience, and Mark Kermoda's made an awful lot of money and fame and what have you out of criticizing other people's work, over the years. And that's not to say that there isn't a place for any film critic, because we like to know the opinions of others that may influence us, either wasting our money or investing our money in seeing a picture that's going to stay with us for the rest of our lives. But yeah, I don't know. When you got something like this new Wolfman movie, and it's it's a Blumhouse movie, I think we kind of know what to expect now. Or if we see anything coming out of Disney, we know exactly what to expect. It doesn't matter whether it's Star Wars or whether it's going to be a rehash of a live action version of a Disney animated movie.
Yeah, because they keep making the same mistakes, they take the same steps, and they just keep doubling down on it, and it's just
I mean, take the criticism. It's the audience that are the biggest critics, that are your best critics. An audience is going to be your best critic, and they should listen to the audiences. And when they don't, when I say listen to the audiences, and it's not necessarily just the voices of the audiences, it's the lack of arses on comfy chairs in cinemas. And when you have a lack of those, those buttocks on those seats, that's what you got to listen to. The empty seats. Listen to the empty seats. Look at the numbers. You can't keep repeating and doubling down time and time and time again. Look at the lack of subscribers, the people that are unsubscribing, to Disney Plus and not renewing their subscriptions because their content is garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with the BBC as well. I mean, because they are losing tons and tons of money from the TV licenses being cancelled, and now they're trying to get the government to fucking force us to pay the TV license to them for people who are not watching the BBC anymore and are watching Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah,
and that is absolutely disgusting. That is like, no, you do not do that. Produce actual quality content. Stop pushing agendas. Stop trying to fucking badmouth the audience. Stop trying to insult your audience. Produce quality content, and you may get those TV licenses back. Or you could just stop being greedy bastards and stop fucking sponging out tax monies. And
you see, this is the kind of movie. I mean, Snatch is the kind of movie that is there specifically to entertain.
Right?
It's a great piece of entertainment, right? And it's watchable. I mean, I've seen it numerous times, countless times, and as I'm sure you two have, and some of the audience watching at the moment. And these for me are the movies that stay with me. I mean, I've got a massive DVD and Blu-ray collection, and I'll still maintain my collection. I still buy physical copies of movies that I want to see, because I don't trust any of the streaming services not to tinker with those movies. So long live physical copies of movies, long live physical media, I say. But this is a movie that is designed to entertain. Right? Now, how many times have we said on either the Nielsen ratings or in the privacy of our own home or to friends down the pub or whatever, they could never make that movie today? And the reason they could never make this movie today is because they would want to inject an agenda in it. They don't want us to be entertained. They don't want us to watch movies for entertainment anymore. They want movies with messages. And as has been said time and time again, if I want to, if I want a message, I'll use Western Union. And it's as simple as that.
They're trying to change like the whole entertainment. The whole point of the entertainment industry is to entertain, and they're trying to change that dynamic.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the majority of these moviegoers seem to be men. we don't get women. Yeah, we get women and you know, who want to go see movies, but the majority of the people that seem to be the biggest money makers are men, like action movies and you know, horror movies and that. Then again, I think women seem to love horror movies more than men, from my experience. So,
do you know who are the biggest cinema going demographic? Do you know who they are? Do you know what age group they are and everything? Do you know that?
I'm guessing it's
40 to
kids.
50.
19-year-old white men.
19-year-old white men.
19-year-old white men. That's the majority of the people. That on average, that it's that demographic, right? And they don't want to cater for 19-year-old white men.
Oh well, good luck.
I know, and it's like, you know, you cater into movies that are not appealing to 19-year-old white men, but maybe black, trans, gay men or women, and it's like you said, just make a movie and just make a good movie, and if the majority loves it, you're doing well. You've done well.
Do you know? I mean, I always kind of repel against, you know, when people say, you know, our target audience is this and our target audience is that. No. You shouldn't be targeting 19-year-old white men, right? You shouldn't be targeting 50-year-old women. You shouldn't be targeting, you know, any particular age group or demographic, regardless of their ethnicity, their sexuality, or their gender. It doesn't matter. Target an audience. An audience.
Right.
That's what you have to target. An audience. It's a, you know, it's a, you know, an all-encompassing thing. You know, you don't have to target a particular sector of society. If it's a movie that entertains, it entertains. Full stop. And I still don't believe that there is any such thing as, you know, this term modern audience. There is no such thing. It's something that's been, it's something that they peddle continuously. You know, Disney peddle the term modern audience. We're doing this for modern audiences. 20th Century Fox, we're actually doing this. We're rejigging this this franchise for modern audiences. We're redoing that for modern audiences. You know, even Amazon Prime said, you know, well, we're going to be starting making more content for modern audiences.
Yeah,
Now, what the fuck? What's a modern? What's a modern audience?
They're even making historical movies for modern audiences. It's like, that makes no fucking sense. Historical stuff isn't modern, though. It's history.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I mean, I'm all for, you know, historical movies being as accurate as you can possibly have, provided that, you know, the story is truthful. It doesn't matter whether there are any kind of sort of anachronistic sort of errors and what have you. You know,
just when they start turning Isaac Newton Indian because because you know, it's like some kind of like anti-white agenda that they're trying to push on people, and it's
I mean,
just
you
wrong.
imagine? Can you imagine the portrayal of Oscar Wilde being straight? Could you imagine, you know, any story about Martin Luther King being white,
I've seen the memes.
you know what I mean?
Memes on
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, I don't think that the ethnicity of any historical character should be changed. I've got absolutely zero problem with the ethnicity of a fictitious character being changed, having an ethnic alteration in a literary character. I've got no problem with that. But this is just me personally. So I don't care. You know, I don't care about the ethnicity of James Bond. I really don't care about the ethnicity of James Bond. I just want to see a great Bond, you know, in a great Bond movie. But you know, these, you know, the whole whitewashing thing has been going on a long time in Hollywood. You know, and sometimes you kind of think, oh God, yeah, I wonder what that would have been like if they'd only used the actual ethnicity of those characters. If they'd instead of, you know, having somebody who's white, you know, when this character has been written as a black character, it would have been so much better. Or we're still having people dressed up as, you know, and painted up as being Chinese. You know, you know, in a modern film, you know, you've not used a Chinese person. You know, I find that abhorrent. But on the other hand, these kind of racial swaps have been going on the other way around as well. So, for example, did you know that the character of Shaft, played by Richard Roundtree, was a white character? He was written in the book as a white cop. But I would never want to see Shaft as a white cop.
Yeah.
I want to see Shaft as Richard Roundtree, personally, you know. So it's been going on for a long time, and it has been kind of, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But yeah, I'm sorry about the rant. I tend to
I must read the original booklet because I'm probably sure it was kind of like a style thing for the adaptation anyway. So I need to look more into that. But I need to watch the original Shaft. I've got it on my list to watch, and I keep forgetting to put it on. So I'll try
there's one thing you must know about Shaft, that he is the black private dick who is a sex machine to all the chicks.
Shaft.
You're damn right.
I've seen I did see the kind of sequel remake with Samuel Jackson. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. But you got Shaft's Big Score and Shaft in Africa. The first one is obviously the best one. But then I like movies of that era anyway, of the 70s. I'm, as you know, a big 70s movie fan. And I mentioned something to Lance actually last night when we were doing the Gene Hackman thing. And he wasn't aware of this movie. It's a movie called The Seven Ups, with Roy Scheider, and it was kind of the unofficial sequel to The French Connection. Yeah, it was produced. I think it was written and produced by William Lustig, but it's got Roy Scheider in it. But it's based on one of the books by one of the two cops that were featured in The French Connection. So that's one that I'm going to be watching and talking about possibly on Tuesday. The Seven Ups.
I'll try and check that out tomorrow because it's Saturday. Me and the wife usually have a nice little movie day and relax. I drink a nice, sometimes a beer or a scotch, depending on what I've got. So I might check that out. So and since we're at the end now as well, it's looking like they're in the clear now because they've got the excuse to that they're taking the dog out for a walk, and Tommy looks like he's having a hard time trying to get the dog, which is very funny. And once again, fucking Vinny Saul is just it's all ended badly for them because the police are now searching the car and they've got fucking bodies in the boot of the car. That tea cozy on his head. And even worse, the fucking Diamond is driving off with these complete strangers as well. And then we're right back to where we started, and it's such a good twist as well where, well, anything you can do about this Diamond? And it's fucking dug the head. It goes right back to Avi. All this carnage only to end up back to him. It's like perfect. Perfect end. Perfect little twist. Perfect setup to these really fucking ridiculous payoffs, but it makes sense within the context of
it does.
The movie as well.
Book ends it nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then Avi gets on one of those 2-hour Atlantic flights and comes to claim his diamond.
Yeah, and I love those reoccurring jokes as well, like the dog running back to the was constantly eating things as well, which does lead to the events that started at the beginning, and Avi basically speeding his way through the flight to England and back. It's very hyper.
You got anything to declare? Yeah, don't go to England.
So that was Snatch, and it doesn't top Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, but it is still a barrel load of laughs, or should I say, Two Smoking Barrel load of laughs.
Well done, very good.
It's one of these movies I could just watch over and over again and still enjoy because it's just a fun movie. It's just a fun, crazy movie.
It is a fun movie.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
characters are very memorable. I mean, yes, Jason probably is the weakest, but I don't think he was dull. I don't think he was dull in it. I think,
no. I mean, I'm probably being a little bit harsh, really. That's my my curmudgeon coming out, my inner curmudgeon coming out there.
and I don't like the actual plays Tyrone. He's a very funny guy, but you never
Yeah.
really seen him much else. But it's like all these characters, they're kind of cool, but they're idiots at the same time. I mean, they've always got bad stuff happening to them, and it just ends up getting worse for them as well. And they always pay a price for their little deeds, and it's all from this little stone from fucking Antwerp.
But it's strange, isn't it, to say that a film that's got so much violence and so many deaths in it that it's entertaining, that it's a fun film. But it is. It's a fun movie, and it's movie violence. That's all it is. It's not
Yeah,
real violence, and this is where a lot of the knuckleheads that have a problem with movie violence. Really need to understand that there is a big difference between fiction and reality.
yeah, no, because at the end of the day, it's just squibs and corn syrup, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and plus, the violence is very comical. It's not totally visceral. I mean, it still has its impact. It's still
yeah,
not polite, but at the same time, it's done in such a very comical way. You can't help but laugh at how fucked up it all is.
yeah. There's no. I mean, the only real bit of violence where there's cruelty behind it, real cruelty behind it, is the burning of the caravan.
Yeah, that was
Um,
it. That was the only really scene that
yeah,
was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
yeah. I mean, that was kind of when a fun movie suddenly got serious, and as we all said, the stakes
Yeah,
suddenly got as high as
stakes
they
were
could
raised.
possibly be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
it was quite kind of like a necessary thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he
Well.
must have, in the writing of this, I can imagine that he must have been thinking, what can I use? We need the stakes to be raised that much that he has to go back and fight. What can I think of? And he must have been racking his brains. Is this too much? Um, is it going to darken for what, for all intents and purposes, is a fun caper movie, and it is a caper movie.
Yeah, it rounds it off nicely though with the Mickey's retribution, if you like.
Yeah.
It's it's sort of you still realise that Guy Ritchie's sort of clinging onto his moral compass, if you like, and he shows that there are consequences for certain things that happen within the film, and everybody ends up with their just desserts, whatever that may be.
Yeah, certainly consequences of cruelty.
Yeah,
for an unjust evil act.
Yeah,
there's no question to that. I mean, the other violence, you could argue, is this is the world that these people live in, and therefore, they kind of deserve what's dished out to them. They know what they're in. They know
Like the
what's going.
pawnbrokers, they obviously should have just fucking said no to Boris the Blade and just got on with their day, and they'd be all right. But no,
Yeah.
that will have landed in a fucking. They've lost Tyrone. He's been fucking injured with a bullet.
Yeah.
It's unknown whether he's made it.
Yeah.
And they're now going to be arrested for after being caught with the fucking dead bodies, even though they didn't actually kill them.
Yeah.
So they probably will find evidence that it wasn't them that did the killings, but the fact that they were disposing them and didn't report them to police probably will still get them into some trouble. That's what I'm betting.
And it's the one innocent death, Mickey's mother, that you actually do feel it. It's like, wow, this poor woman, this was completely undeserved, totally undeserved. This had nothing to do with her whatsoever. Whereas everybody else, they do suffer the consequences of the world that they've decided to play a part in.
Yeah, because when they die, it's funny. It is fucking funny.
Yeah.
But when she dies, no, it's it is downright depressing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that dark turn. I think it's a smarter movie than people would give it credit for. Actually, um, I do. I just love the various sort of woven plots. I love the way he's wove this plot. I really do. You know. But as you say, I think Lock, Stock is a better film, and I think it's a better film because we've got 4 really good characters to focus on. You know, and each of them are really well acted. I mean, even Jason Statham, I thought he was fucking amazing in Lock, Stock.
Yeah, no, because I think that was his first movie, and he actually does come across, because he wasn't really an action star, and he was just an actor helping out his friend as well, and
Yeah.
And I think that was sort of like his thing, because I know he was just more like an athlete, wasn't he? I think he did like football and a bit of boxing as well, and he was an Olympic diver for quite a while.
But
yeah. Guy Ritchie got a few people who were actors. I mean, he had Lenny McLean on there, who was a former gangster. He was no actor, but he fucking sold it, though, because he did lead that life.
Yeah, and he also had P.H. Moriarty, who they call him an actor, but I think he stinks. I got to be honest with you. I think he absolutely stinks. I thought he stank to high heaven in The Long Good Friday, and he really, really stank in Jaws 3D. I think he stinks as an actor. He's terrible, terrible actor. P.H. Moriarty.
P.H. Moriarty.
Yeah, was he? He wasn't Hatchet Harry, was he?
Yeah, yeah.
Really, I thought he was all right.
Oh,
I thought he was all right in that film.
Oh, I think the guy. And I'm sorry if this sounds really cruel, but I don't think the guy could act if you had a gun to his head.
Bless.
I really don't think he could act if you held him at gunpoint. Yeah, I think he's terrible. I think he's I've seen more emotion from a fucking table lamp, to be honest. I just don't rate him. I really don't like him as an actor at all. I mean, he's got a great face and he's got a fantastic physical presence. But I just think his acting is appalling. He doesn't so much act as says words. And I think that's all he does. He says words. It's like,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's like everybody else acts around him, and he just says words. It's such a shame, because he has got a great face.
Yeah, he's got a face you never get tired of punching.
And I'm sure he's a lovely man. I'm sure he is a lovely man. And
yeah, I think he passed away. Let's have a look.
I don't think he has. I think he's still here, isn't he?
That's just that's his acting style.
Yeah,
he's 85 now.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's always like that. Is he dead? No, he's just acting.
Yeah. I apologies to him and his family and friends, but I just, I have to be completely honest, and that is just my opinion. And hate me for it, everybody, if you want. I don't.
Nah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, my fucking my stream's gonna get a fucking hit squad after me now.
I think he's a lovely bloke.
It's my uncle.
Yeah. I still think he did well as Hatchet Harry. I mean, he did still feel like he had a bit of a presence to him, though, especially when he had Lenny McLean. And Lenny McLean.
Yeah,
he was obviously a mean fucker in his day. I mean, come on, face like that, And it was like his last film as well before he died. So.
Yeah, it's funny. Nosha Powell had said that Lenny McLean was the only person or he was the person that he received the hardest punch off. He said, I've never known anybody as hard as Lenny McLean. And that's Nosha Powell is Gary and Greg Powell's dad, famous stuntman. because he was he was an interesting man, Nosha Powell. If ever you see any videos, I'm sure there are plenty of videos of Nosha Powell on YouTube. So
yeah, they've got loads of videos on all these ex-gangsters. I don't know if you've watched Mike Frinchier's stuff, but he does some good stuff, man. And I think Christ, man, he's because he was in the mafia for a while, and he does some very good podcasts, and he was talking about his experience with Goodfellas when the movie came out, everything. It's and he even praises the Penguin for how right it got the mob accurately done as well, which I think that's a lot to do, especially in a comic book TV show.
It's funny you mentioned that. This is a weird coincidence because last night.
Hey, Jammer.
Last night I was watching a couple of bits on YouTube late. I say last night. It was about 2:30 this morning, and just watched a couple of videos. And randomly, Michael Francese video came up, and where he was rating his favorite gangster movies. And it's the first video that I've ever seen on his podcast or videocast. I mean, one of my sons, he he's quite interested in Michael Francese, and he sort of watches a lot of his stuff. But he did a tour, didn't he, of the UK? I think just before Christmas. He was doing a tour. His talk. And of course, you couldn't get tickets for Love Nor Money because it's incredibly popular.
Christ, man. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about Snatch now. I think we've already gone through it. I mean,
Jason Statham was in an Erasure video in 1994.
Oh, was he really?
His first 4 gigs were music videos. He did The Shaman in 93 with Coming On, Erasure, Run to the Sun, 94, The Beautiful South, Dream a Little Dream in 95, and he was in a Yellow video in 1997, and then he did Lock Stock.
What Yellow video was it?
To the Sea. He was playing a swimmer.
Oh, that figures.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason Statham, was it?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
I was just trying to see what his first movie was. Apparently, Lock Stock in 98.
That's a great first movie, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And he was good in that. He was good in that. I think I've been maybe a little bit cruel about his acting, but
he has done some shit.
Yeah.
He has, but he's consistent though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what you're gonna get.
That's exactly it.
He doesn't seem to be a fucking idiot with his fame as well. He just seems to do what he needs to do. He knows what his audience wants. I mean, from what I'm hearing, his fucking millionaire pad is actually not even a millionaire pad. It's like something very humble and unless his supermodel girlfriend wanted him to go bigger, I don't know. Yeah. I think the only thing I question him about is the little fashion catwalks he does with his wife sometimes. I don't know, because I've seen some of the get-up he wears on there, and it's like, mate, come on, stick to the fucking suits with the turtlenecks, mate. You pull them off a bit better.
Does he do his catwalk stuff in built-up shoes, by any chance?
I don't know. I've seen some like
Cuban heels.
Rosie, give me a minute. Yeah, man. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, Jason Statham and Rosie Hunting White. Come on. Types it up, yeah. So look, see if we can get there's been a few fucking weird pictures with him at fashion catwalks. Actually, no, there's some good ones here. It's all him in tuxes. So look. So look. Actually, no, they're not bringing up any fucking thing we can laugh at. It's just suits and. No, damn you, Google! Damn you, Google!
Stupid Google. Spoiling our fun.
Yeah, I wanted to see him in Cuban heels.
Yeah, because I saw him in some weird overcoats when he was modelling with her, but it's
Just type it into an AI generator. See what that comes up with. But I think going back to saying that you didn't know what the attraction was, Gary, I think the attraction is the consistency throughout his movies. He plays Jason Statham in every single one.
Yeah.
He plays an action hero with a Cockney accent. And if that's what you're looking for an evening's entertainment,
you're right.
You know you're going to get it. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, that's right. I mean, fair play to him. I mean, he has his audience. I mean, he's never going to win an Oscar.
Nah.
Unless he does the Michael Caine thing.
Yeah.
But I think he's. I think I've been completely unfair on him, to be honest. So I'll take back everything that I've said.
You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
Yeah.
I'm disgusted and disappointed.
Yeah,
it seems like myself... a guy that could take the criticism as like, I know what I do shit. Sometimes it's fun, man. That's a good laugh, innit?
I think they should remake Zulu and he should play Chard. He should play Michael Caine's character.
Who knows? Because I mean, he's getting a bit old now for the action. I think even he's said that it's starting to tire him out a bit more. So who knows? He might actually try and see if he can actually do the more quiet stuff, the more subtle stuff, the more dramatic stuff.
No, is the answer.
Please, no.
No, it's just a no from me. You're getting a red buzzer.
If Arnold Schwarzenegger can do Maggie, then who knows? But yeah, it's that Snatch. It's funny, it's smart, it's got some great twists and turns. It's some very memorable characters. The dialogue is sharp and it's violent, but it's comically violent. And yeah, it's hard not to rewatch this because it's just such a fun movie. It knows its audience and it delivers what its audience wants. And there's not really much I can say anymore about this. So
it's definitely going to endure. I think I mean, we're talking about this 25 years on, and it's as good now as it was when it was first released.
Yeah.
Where did you both first see this movie? Can you remember your first time you saw this?
Yeah. Fucking hell. It's going back years ago, but I think it was a couple of years after it came out. I mean, my stepdad was just fucking bringing a load of DVDs that I'm hoping he borrowed legitimately from someone instead of just taking it without asking. I don't know. It's been a long time. But I remember watching it then because I was getting into my gangster stuff back in my teens. I was getting into like Pulp Fiction and Goodfellas, and I had already seen Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and I loved it. And I laughed my fucking ass off. And I was not let down by this. I had fun with it. So Fandad, Menace, your experience with it?
I can't really remember. I'm gonna take a wild guess. I had seen Lock, Stock, so I knew who the guy was that made Snatch. I'm thinking I probably hired it from Blockbuster on either VHS or DVD. Probably DVD. I used to work at Blockbusters in the early 2000s. So probably around that time, 2003 or 4 or 5. But yeah, I'm sure I enjoyed it then. Can't really remember the first time I saw it, but I've seen it subsequently a few times.
Yeah.
I must have watched it just a few times. Like I watch it, the next day I watch it again and again and again, and I just couldn't. I just didn't want to have a day where I wasn't watching it because it was such a fun movie. And apparently Sean Connery was originally offered to play Bricktop. Fucking hell, man.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine that.
Oh my God.
From a big towel.
Yes.
Do you know what nemesis means?
Horrible cunt.
I'm a right horrible cunt.
Feed him to the pigs.
You know what nemesis means?
Connery duly turned up and watched the film before emerging with his judgment. That is a good film, he said. And in a stage whisper, you're not going to be able to afford me. So they got Alan Ford instead.
Yeah. You're going to make that pikey fight.
Yeah.
Or you're fucking dead.
nearly every death in the movie takes place off screen. Yeah, we don't see the impact of the bullet hit Frankie Four Fingers. We don't see Bullets of Tony get shot. We don't really see Boris the Blade get shot. I think we maybe once anyway, and we see Tyrone get hit with the bullets, but it looks like he makes it out alive. So the actual deaths are off screen. So
I actually, do you know what? I think that there was a reason for that. I would make the suggestion that Guy Ritchie had thought, right, okay, we can be smart about this. We can, if we don't show so much blood, if we don't show the bullet hits, if we don't actually show the deaths, then maybe we can get a better rating, a wider audience rating. So I don't know, what was this, an 18 when it was released? I can't.
Oh yeah, it was an 18, but
it was an 18.
Possibly.
Oh, well, then he failed.
I know, because it's not really that gruesome. I mean, you don't see Frankie Four Fingers' arm getting chopped off. It's mostly off screen, isn't it? It's sort of like cut off at the bottom.
And this was 2000, wasn't it? 2000. Yeah. So that means that James Furman was still the head of the BBFC. So that figures. That figures why this got an 18 on its release.
And I'll tell you why all the off-screen sort of violence and the dumbing down of that violence really sort of lends itself to the impact that the death of Mickey's mother has on the audience. Because you know there's deaths going on, but you haven't exactly seen it firsthand. And then when that comes along, that just punches you straight in the face, and then you know what ride you're in for. Going forward from there.
And it's an evil killing as well, isn't it? It really is a cruel fucking killing.
But do we know whether or not they knew she was in the caravan?
I don't think they would have cared, to be honest, because they don't seem like the type of guy who will take great care in avoiding collateral damage.
So he gets his just desserts. Eventually.
Apparently, Bricktop, despite the fact that we see him torturing dogs, which that's fucked up, by the way. He's actually Alan Ford is actually a vegetarian and an animal rights activist. Shit.
All right.
Damn, man.
Blimey. You'd never think that, would you?
No.
I think he'd be like chainsawing at everything that he comes across, Let's shoot the bastard.
Kill that fucking dog.
Molly, get the chainsaw out.
Yeah, and apparently it was called Bricktop because he had ginger hair in his youth.
All right.
Amazing.
I'm looking at the trivia. There's loads of stuff, but it's never mentioned in the movie. I mean, they're like little tidbits that probably gave the actors something to work with, to help build their characters. So,
it's interesting. That.
But
it's a good choice of movie, mate. A really, really good choice of film.
Yeah, because it's not really super analytical, but there is a lot going on, and it is sort of like you get who the characters are straight away. They are overly complex. You get what they are. I mean, we get Avi. Yeah, he's obviously a gangster, but at the same time, he's a little bit squeamish when it comes to violence. He's kind of, which is not a thing you should really be if you are a gangster. I mean, Butts of Tony, he's very professional, but he will be ruthless when he needs to be. But he gets squeamish when he has to cut up a dog, when he's ordered to cut up a dog. Yeah, Avi is very happy to cut the dog open. It's a very nice little thing that contradicts their characters a little bit. Yeah. But and I don't think is there anything else you want to add to this movie?
I'm glad that you made me rewatch this. I hadn't seen this for a long, long time, so I'm glad that you kind of forced my arm behind my back to rewatch it.
Always glad to do that. Yeah, Fandad, anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've given it its appraisal. Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
Well, thank you, and thanks for joining me on this talk about this fucking still great movie. 25 years later, it's still great. And now we're on to what you got next, Fandad. Have you got anything else planned on YouTube or outside YouTube, I should say?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, fair play, man. Fair play. And inside, man, I think you have something on Sunday. We're both doing.
Yeah.
Classic TV show about a sociopathic, bald-headed cop.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So we're on to. Can you believe that we're actually on to episodes 7 and 8? Can you believe that we're on 7 and 8 already? But yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm pretty sure that you are as well. Given the previous shows that we've done, the previous streams that we've done on this, and I'm so glad to have been introduced to this show. I'd never seen before. I'd never seen The Shield before, and I don't know. I'd never really, it never sort of really crossed my mind to watch it until Lance said, "Look, you've got to watch it. You really have got to watch it. You don't know what you're missing." And I thought, "Oh God, okay." And then I started watching it. I thought, "Oh my God, yeah, this is a classic piece of TV. This is how on earth did this pass me by?" But yeah, really enjoying it. Really enjoying the show. But obviously equally enjoying being with Lance, yourself, Darth Plato, and Lord of Toxicity. It's great. The bunch of us can really sort of shoot the shit and talk turkey, or shoot the turkey and talk shit about this show. It's just it's great. Yeah, so looking forward to doing that on Sunday. That's at 8 on the Outcasts Creative channel. And can't wait to do it.
Yep, can't wait to shoot it as well. Should be good. So I finally get to talk about The Night Agent, which I'm actually starting to grow to love. It's not the best show ever, but I am a little bit intrigued. Has its problems, but I'll get to that I'll get to that on Tuesday. And yeah, next up, I'm hoping to try and get a review of Flight Risk next week, which we've directed by Mel Gibson and starring Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Dockery, and Topher Grace. And for a Mel Gibson film, it's definitely one of his weakest, but I will get to that in my review. So yeah, and thanks for joining me, and both of you. You're always welcome to come back on for the next one, or
bless you, mate.
The next one after if you're
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Just need to figure out which one to do next week. I have no idea what I want to do next week. Cause I'm trying not to really get them planned like weeks ahead, just in case some people fall out. But we'll see what happens next week. So yeah, thanks for people joining me. Nix, yes, boobs. Alana, thanks for joining us. Mr. E, thanks for joining us as well, Lord of Toxicity, and Blue Collar Loser, thank you very much. You've it's been a real pleasure having you on. And there was someone else who was on here as well, RTNZ, yes, and there was someone else.
Ray Terry,
yeah,
my good friend Ray.
Ray Terry, yeah. Razor, is that it?
Razor.
Razor, yeah.
It's his old name. Razor. It's his superhero name that I gave him when he was 15.
I like it. Razor.
From the future.
And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching. And do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that bell in order to be notified. And if you wish to further support this channel, links will be in the description below. And right now, that's me done. And I'm off to the pub. Enjoy your weekend, you beautiful bastards. See you. And wouldn't want to be here.